This is the breakfast show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek.
I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars being an African country.
Can I show what is written on the box?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the
Just
camera?
stand and turn. So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the breakfast show.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling helping. And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast. So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning.
You want it served buffet style? Complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service.
We've got you covered. From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m. With a trusted team. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
Coming live from the capital, this is the breakfast show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast. Not just any breakfast. Sizzling helping.
On a revolution, that's Kirk Franklin with a real nice throwback from about 25 years ago, taking us to the beginning of today's Throwback Thursday edition of GTV Breakfast. Good to have you here. My name is Kafui, and today is a big day in terms of governance of the sub-region, because there's an ECOWAS extraordinary summit happening in the capital today, in Accra. And so a couple of roads will be blocked. We'll give you details on that in a short while. So ECOWAS heads of states are quite nervous about what's happening in the neighborhood. And so they are gathering here in the country of the chairman to discuss issues. I'm sure Burkina Faso will be on their minds. I'm sure Guinea will be on their minds. I'm sure Guinea-Bissau will be on their minds. I'm sure Mali will be on their minds. And most importantly, how to prevent a lot of the stuff that is going on, the unrest, the disturbances, and the impact of the military on their country. So that's something that's really big that's happening today. Something that's also big and is happening around the country, scheduled for today, is a hashtag Students Are Suffering demonstration. So it's as a result of the University Teachers Association, UTAG, University Teachers Association of Ghana, who have been on a strike now. It's about 21 days, and the universities are facing imminent closure students are not happy, and so they intend to start going on demonstrations, 6 a.m. around the country. Public universities will be keeping an eye on that for you to see how things are going. And as I was driving here today, I was looking at the signs outside the filling stations. I saw some 6.669, 6 cedis, 69 pesos for a liter of petrol. I saw 6.78. I saw 7 cedis. I saw 7.45. I saw 7 cedis, 50 pesos. So let me know what the prices are wherever you are. But fuel has really gone up. And you know, when fuel goes up in Ghana, it stands to reason that transport fares will not stay down. What's really going on? We'll try and get some insights into that. So that's what's been happening while you've been asleep. So welcome to the show. What's happening today? Today's Throwback Thursday, so expect a lot of old videos that will make you smile and think about your time back then. But on the show, we're looking at, on Health Check, life after chemotherapy and radiation treatment. Today on the show, so in about 23 minutes, we'll be having a conversation on that. We'll also be having with us the EU ambassador to Ghana to talk issues. And I know anytime we have diplomats here, people are always talking about visas. So yeah, bring your questions in on the visas and things, but also let's talk about other things on the EU conversation. And then there's going to be a chit chat with Val and a master drummer on today's show. So you're going to be hearing the sounds of Ghana and Africa on the show. Wow, WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. We're live on DSTV channel 288. And I'm happy to be alive. And so is Dr. Kofi Osei-Kusi, who comes in with the wisdom nugget as we do it every morning around this time. He says 3 words: never give up. Welcome to the show.
It's a good morning to you. Good to see you again. You can see my excitement. Always very excited, always very, very humbled to get to serve you the wisdom nugget for the day, because a nugget a day keeps the problems away. Today we're talking about don't give up. As I thought about this nugget, my brain went way back to when I was in nursery school and we were taught to rhyme. Maybe you remember that as well. If at first you don't succeed, try again. For if you will persevere, you will conquer, never fail. Try again. Help me clap for my nursery teacher. For me to remember that after many years, hey, my teacher did a good job. But here, it may have been a nursery rhyme, but many years down the line, it's true. It's true that you should not give up. You should try again. I'm sure you remember the story of Thomas Edison, the one who helped to create a long-lasting light bulb. Actually, it wasn't Edison who invented the light bulb. Somebody else had done it. But what he did was to give us a light bulb that would last for a long time. Because when they actually invented it, it would just come on, and after maybe a split second, it goes off. But he tried to actually give us the kind of light bulb that can last. And so now when you turn your light, it can stay on for months and maybe years and not die. Credit to him. How did he get there? He tried almost 10,000 times to get it right. Don't give up. People give up too soon. They give up before the opportunity, actually gets nailed. Don't give up too soon. People give up because of criticisms. People give up because it looks like what's going to come out of this. Don't give up too soon. But let me balance this. There are some things you must give up as well. Don't be a fool and stick on with something that is not going to work. I mean, 10 years, 20 years, or for some reason, this thing is really not going to work. You have to be able to figure out the difference between the things you should give up on and the things you shouldn't give up on. There are things that are going to kill you if you don't give up on them. But here are some of the things that you should never, ever give up on. Never give up on your mission in life. Never give up on your values, the good values that you hold on to. It doesn't matter the position you get into and the pressure that is put on you. Never give up on your faith. Never give up on your honesty and integrity. Never give up on hard work and excellence. Never give up on your mission in life. Never give up on your good dreams. Never give up. There are many things in your life that no matter what, like your mission in life, you should never give up on it, because you may take it 10,000 times to keep trying, but one of these days it's going to shine. It's going to speak for itself, and people are going to celebrate you because you never gave up. It is the people that stand up to the end that eventually get the standing ovation. Hey, I wish I could stand up and give you a standing ovation right now, because you're such a champion. I'll see you again on the Wisdom Nugget for your day.
6:12, you're watching GTV Breakfast. We want to go straight to the Accra-Tema motorway, where there's a development there that our colleague Alan wants to report to us right now. Alan, hi and welcome. Tell us what you can report.
Hi, good morning, Africa. Good morning, Ghana. Welcome to GTV Breakfast. I am currently on the Tema-bound Accra motorway, and my actual location is between Fiesta Royale and the Accra Mall. So those of us who are very familiar with this stretch of road, if you're coming down from Lagos and you use the slip road, which will bring you onto the N1 so you head towards La Paz, in which case you go past Fiesta Royale, there is an accident on that very junction involving a fuel tanker carrying fuel, and how on this stretch of road it would be facing towards La Paz, and yet it is facing towards Tema, is somehow difficult to explain. But I can confirm, if I pan my camera around, you'd find that this brought on a certain good amount of traffic on the motorway, because the police had to close off the road. They have to close off the Tema-bound Accra stretch of the motorway as you come off the toll booth towards the N1, so that they could move the accident off the road to allow commuters to be able to freely move. The police have asked me to film from a distance. In fact, they even wouldn't let me film because of fear that the filming may likely spark fire. And not too long ago, we had an incident somewhere in the Western region where people who went to film eventually got caught up in the whole disaster. And so the police, by way of caution, asked that we film from a distance. As I speak to you, the police towing truck is towing the fuel tanker off the road in order to allow commuters to be able to use the Tema Accra bound off the motorway towards the N1 from Fiesta Royale towards La Paz. If I'm able to go slightly closer, you will see to the far right of the road the fuel tanker sitting, having been cleared, moved off just about 2 minutes ago, being moved off the road to allow traffic to La Paz or Achimota, if that's your destination. Commuters heading towards this end are therefore cautioned to exercise some restraint. You will not be able to move as freely because of the current incident being taken care of by the police. There's quite a huge number of police present on this stretch of road. There is also the fire service with their fire tenders trying to ensure or working to ensure that if anything happens, they are on hand to deal with the situation. But I can also confirm that the fuel tanker had a certain amount of fuel in it, and that is somehow pouring onto the road. You may have heard earlier on how the police were unwilling to allow me film. It is all part of the safety precautions in order to ensure that this disaster will not degenerate into something else. The police out here are quite a good number, and I can also say that they're doing a yeoman's job. I'm ensuring traffic is flowing freely, also securing the scene of the accident, also to ensure that it does not degenerate into something they can contain while it is in this state. Yes, I'm trying to get round to also bring you shots of the fuel tanker. I'm also doing this within the strictest of safety precautions to ensure that perhaps, as the police earlier warned, they would not want no cameras pointing, just in case, because there is fuel spilling onto the road, it catches or it sparks fire. Indeed, because commuters are being allowed to drive at a distance past the accident, indeed, heat with fuel, it can spark fire. And so all this the police are doing as part of the precaution to ensure that the incident or the accident is contained as much as they can. And so what you can see now in the distance is the police towing truck. Behind it is the fuel carrying, tanker carrying the fuel, which I suspect should be heading towards La Paz. Yet somehow, I'm sure must have been one of the, or as a result of the accident, it rather turned around facing towards those coming from Tema.
Okay, so that's Alan giving us a report on the Tema Accra motorway. There was an accident involving a tanker that overturned and was facing the opposite direction, heading towards Tema. And so the authorities have come and they are taking care of the situation. The police are there. I can see the towing services also there. So be very careful as you're driving on the Accra-Tema motorway. It's around the area where the whole road just becomes a spaghetti junction around the Accra Mall there. So you take care and don't be in a hurry. It's better to be late than be late. Glad you're here. We are going for our social media trends right here on this show. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thanks for staying on. It's still Breakfast Live on GTV. Welcome to the show. We're looking into our social media trends this morning, and still AFCON is trending, and it was a heartbreak for the lads from Burkina Faso when they lost against Senegal 3-1, and Senegal are through to the finals for the second consecutive time in the AFCON competition. And what a spirited performance they've put up, the Burkinabes.
Yeah, Charlie, land of my birth. I'm not too happy, but it was a superior performance from Senegal.
It was.
Look, Mane is looking like an executioner. You know? Charlie, good game.
Highlights
good game.
of the game on your screen.
Yeah.
It was a good game. Two penalties were called and disallowed after VAR checking. And
the referee was on point. Ooh. Elbow. And very fast game. And these guys are all like giants, you know. I thought the Burkinabe were tall, but the Senegalese are
huge.
Huge giants,
huge.
You know. Yeah,
yes.
That was the first goal.
Yes. Oh.
And then we go. So they are through to the final?
Senegal.
Yes. Yep. So this one, they're the defender for Sam.
They will meet the winner of Egypt's game
against the Cameroon,
the host nation. So that final match will be on Sunday with the closing ceremony of the tournament. But the Burkinabes will be going home.
The ball. Boom, finish. They got one back at 2-0.
Yes, they did.
Yes, which gave them hope.
And then there was a final goal that just sealed it for the Senegalese.
Yeah, you just need the ball into the net. I like the fact that we have two African coaches in charge of these teams for both Burkina and Senegal. Yes, yeah. The Senegalese have the Rasta.
Is that a word to Ghana?
No, it's a word to. It's a congratulations to Senegal and Burkina Faso. for having
That an African-
faith in their people.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. And the Senegalese, especially, he's been there for 5, 6, 7 years. You know, he's been there for a long time. Former player, now a coach, doing well. They haven't sacked him because they lost some game. They've kept him there. You know, he lost the AFCON last time. They didn't sack him. They kept him. He's there. You know, so continuity. It's great. That's their dressing room.
And I bet that they would be elated because they fought hard for this.
I did not watch the game, but I realized on Twitter that the referee was trending. Why was he trending?
Because of the 2 penalties he called and disallowed after VAR checking.
And he was fair.
And
he was really fair.
So
he was fair.
He called a penalty and then says, you know what, let's check it twice. And he said, nah, that was not a penalty.
That's the man of the match.
Twice.
Yep. Sadio?
Sadio Mane.
It was a good night for the Senegal boys.
It will be fun.
I was just sad to see Burkina Faso go because of all the turmoil that they have going on in the country. Of course, ECOWAS Summit, like you said, is happening this morning, a meeting with the leaders. And I'm sure Burkina would be center of discussions. And for them to return, I hope that they all return to their families safely. And we are all praying for them.
But regardless, with all that's going on there, I think they put up a really spirited fight.
Yeah. Exactly. I think that they've made themselves very, very proud, and they should hold their heads high.
And they have one more game, the losers final on Saturday.
Yep.
So they'll play
whoever does that gets the silver.
Yeah. So this is today. Abubakar versus Salah. Yep.
Egyptian king, So the Liverpool fans we know which team they will be cheering on.
Yeah, yeah. Well, So the Pharaohs versus the Lions.
The court has fined Prophet Obinim using siren lights.
Okay.
And lights. I think wasn't there a directive against doing this?
There was a directive against using strobe lights and sirens, unauthorized. You're not supposed to use them. It's supposed to be just the emergency services, the police, the ambulances. So those are the strobe lights, the blue and red lights that flash.
Where was he going?
Well,
leave home early enough that you don't need to, wail sirens to get people to clear up for you to pass.
Yeah.
Like join the regular traffic like us regular folk.
Yeah.
Is what I would say.
Yesterday on the Kanda Highway, mid-afternoon, there was this motorbike, the police escort. So everybody had to clear and go off the side. And then it was just one V8 that was following, and everybody was like, oh. And it wasn't like there was traffic. Yeah. So yes, can they also start arresting those who use the shoulders of the road too, please?
Yeah, a friend of mine said, listen, the 1,200 CD fine that they gave was too small. They should have added 2 zeros to it, 102,000 CDs. And for me, I don't know. Angels, they don't
fly, disappear and appear.
What are angels doing with sirens and things,
You lot are just
Angel Michael, Angel Gabriel, this is not how they came to town.
You lot are just there were no cars at the time.
But regardless, isn't it this guy who sort of made a visa, somebody's passport appear in a chair or something? What are you doing using security lights? Just fly or disappear and appear.
Exactly. A car is a downgrade to somebody who can fly.
An angel using a car.
Come on. Yeah, but it's seriously, I want the police to be quite aggressive on this. This is some good internally generated funds. I hope some of that money comes to them. That 1,002, and they should give receipts too. They find you, give you receipts.
Look, let's just move on, because that's what winning matters.
We need spot fines on this.
A 7-member Supreme Court Justice. The panel has granted an injunction against the Asin North NDC MP James Jechikwesin after a member of the governing NPP prayed the court to bar the MP from holding himself out as a parliamentarian. So this issue is still trending. The controversy surrounding the membership of the Asin North MP in Parliament.
And
all the stuff that has happened after it came to light that he has dual citizenship. And the calls for him at the start of the first session of the 8th Parliament to not be a parliamentarian after it came to light that he had not renounced his US citizenship ahead of the contest. So those issues are still very much in the trends, and you can follow the details on Twitter because it's one of the stories that are trending there. And I just want to see how all this feeds into the e-levy debates that's currently ongoing in Parliament, because now it's a numbers struggle. Everyone wants to make sure that they have the numbers in Parliament.
So then it means to be one man down for the opposition side.
Yes, but the laws must also prevail. I mean, you cannot have two nationalities and be in parliament. You have to renounce one. So if it is proven, but has it been proven that he has two nationalities? That's the question.
So I'm reading a portion of the story, and it says that the ruling, a part of the ruling said he owed allegiance to two countries, and he counted to say that the fact that he has two nationalities does not mean he owed allegiance to two. I don't, you know, maybe the lawyers, we can get some of our law friends to explain this to us in a bit more detail.
Yeah, whether
because
he's
this is a member
countries.
of parliament, and as at now, I have not heard that he's no longer a member of parliament, and I don't want to assume based on things that I don't know.
Thank you.
So
always very wise.
Let's do our cheesy question for today, and we are asking, who was the first female vice chancellor in a public Ghanaian university? Who was the first female vice chancellor in a public Ghanaian university? If you know the answer to that question, send it to our WhatsApp number 055 5561034 055 5561034. Who was the first female vice chancellor in a public Ghanaian university? And that's it for social media trends. We'll be back with the health check after this.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, we just back to the next level. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pamper, so we try what you say. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do. We go straight to start up. And I gonna take you to next level. Oh, my baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level. But baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, tell me more. Tell me more. Hey, tell me more. Tell me, beer.
They will worry me. Watch me, you come 1 week, Mr. Oh, now,
yes. Boga, nothing. Senior, name me a new mark. Cut down, my business is a collapse. I'm out of balance.
So, who take quick credit in car?
Quick credit?
Yes, quick credit. Who pesika? Edi a start here, you may be. Who here be seen? Edi a true. We are government and a private worker. Who pesika they are till hot so. We are busumi ejuma. Who here sikadi be been temper so. Quick credit be more loan. And what you are kakra. Now, and me just some kasi and say. A collateral free loaner, susu, savings, account opening, and a deposit as MBL. You hear me say, Ghana card. 2022 year, 1 year Juma, now one hour young. Who need excuse here? Quick credit to 03022 00390 and 05969 20833. But see that quick credit take us out.
I am 7 years old. Beep, beep, beep.
I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission.
This is the Breakfast Show.
(6:31) today is February 3. It's the day of the extraordinary ECOWAS summit that's happening today. Lots of issues on their table, and there's going to be lots of roads blocked in town, so be warned about that. The university students say they are suffering, and as a result of their teachers not teaching them, so they are planning to have demonstrations all around in the public universities, so that's something to be thinking about. And fuel prices have gone up. They've gone beyond the 7 cedi per litre figure. I saw 7 cedis, 50 pesos for a litre of fuel. Think about it, 5 bottles of water equals 1 litre of fuel. How we go do it? We're going to have a health check conversation concerning chemotherapy, radiation treatment, cancer. Tomorrow is World Cancer Day, and so we're having this conversation ahead of that. So that's coming up after this.
Joe, where are you? Timmy, where is Daddy?
I don't know.
Joe! Please, have you seen my husband?
No, please.
Joe, is that how you are? Timmy and myself, we've been looking everywhere for you.
It's malaria. I tested positive.
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's malaria. He needs Atenate.
Atenate is an anti-malarial that comes in small capsules for adults and flavored suspension for children.
I'll give it to my husband myself.
Let her take care of me.
I'll take care of you.
Thank you, okay?
It's okay, baby. Don't worry, okay? Daddy is not going anywhere again.
Atenate, your ultimate quality ACT anti-malarial, is available in a pharmacy and over-the-counter medicine shop near you. Test for malaria before treatment. If symptoms persist after 3 days of treatment, please consult your doctor. Atenate, see malaria quine. This
Cancer is a disease that is feared by many people, or if not all, second leading cause of death. But there are ways to treat it, including chemotherapy, surgery, and radiation therapy. What's it like to undergo some of these treatment modes for cancer? I've been joined by a cancer survivor and a producer here at GTV, Cynthia Dakwa. Good morning.
Good morning.
And a Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too.
What do you produce?
I produce documentaries.
Okay. And the last one you did?
Cancer.
Okay.
Breast matters.
Breast matters. Okay. Good to have you here. Can you tell us about your story? I mean, when did you know that you had cancer, and then therefore you had to go into the treatment issues?
I had cancer. I got to know about it November 2019.
Okay.
I normally go for normal screening every year. So I noticed I had a lump, and I went to check, and they said there was nothing. Then I went again, they said there was nothing. I went to Kolebu, then they said I should go and do mammogram. It showed negative. I did another one, it showed negative. Then later, the doctor said I should go and do, they suspected it, so I had to do biopsy. The biopsy was negative. I did 2, and then the doctor was still not convinced, so I did ultrasound biopsy. And that was when it was confirmed that I had breast cancer.
Okay. How did you feel?
How do I feel?
How did you feel when you got the news?
Terrible. Very terrible. It was devastating. I was devastated. I was shattered. I don't know.
And then, of course, you had to take action.
Yeah.
What did they tell you? I mean, I'm sure you asked them, what do we do?
No, I didn't.
You didn't? Okay.
At that moment, I just broke down, and then I wept. Then later I asked.
Yes.
So the doctor took me through the process. In fact, I met one of the good doctors in Kolebu who took me through all the processes, what I'll be going through and all that. I mean, I was well counseled. What I will be going through, the effects and everything. So I was asked to do a surgery. I would be doing chemotherapy. I would be doing radiation, and then after that, I would be doing. I'll be having some kind of medications for a period of time.
Okay. All right. We'll talk more about your story in a short while. I've been joined by a clinical oncologist at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Nadoko Ayete. It's good to have you here now.
I'm happy to be here.
Welcome
Good morning.
to the show.
Thank you.
So a clinical oncologist is what kind of a doctor?
Basically a doctor who takes care of cancer.
Okay.
And we use, so there are several ways of treating cancer. A major part is surgery. I'm not a surgeon. But then after the surgery, or sometimes before the surgery, you may have to receive some medications, chemotherapy, or other kinds, hormonal. These days we have what we call targeted therapy as well. So I do that.
Okay.
And then I also give radiation therapy. So when you finished your surgery and chemotherapy, sometimes you need some extra help to make sure that the cancer doesn't come back. And I do that as well.
So you're a cancer doctor?
Basically, yes. For adults.
For adults. Oh, yes. Okay. We'll talk about childhood ones, maybe with a childhood doctor.
Correct.
Okay. So Cynthia talked about chemotherapy and radiation therapy. Just break it down for us. How do they work? What are they?
Okay. So chemotherapy, like the name sounds like, is chemicals for therapy. So there are medications that we give that aims to destroy cancer cells. There's a little collateral damage. So the thing about cancer cells are that they grow rapidly. They are not really interested in the integrity of the cell, whether the cell is good or bad, they don't mind. They just grow and use up your energy basically, and that's why it eventually causes death, yes. What chemotherapy does is that it targets these rapidly growing cells to destroy them. Unfortunately, because there are other rapidly growing cells in your body, then they can also be affected, and so that's why we have side effects. Then radiation therapy is basically like using X-rays, but ones that are stronger. And what you do is that you direct it to the area of the cancer. So wherever the cancer was, you direct it to that area. And we know that once cancer has become palpable.
What do you mean palpable?
So that you can feel it.
You can feel it, okay.
Yes. Once you can feel it, it's likely there are other microscopic ones around. And so what the radiation therapy does is to target that area where the cancer started from and to destroy the cancer cells there.
Okay.
There's some evidence that when you destroy the cancer cells there, other cancer cells outside of that place can also die. So apart from treating the cancer locally, that is where it started from, there's also benefit for the rest of the body as well.
Can you use these methods together? Can you combine chemotherapy with radiation?
We often do that.
Okay.
You know, the treatment for every cancer is different. That's why I cringe a little when I hear people on radio and TV talking about, I have this one cure for all cancers. All cancers are not the same. They behave completely different. So for certain kinds of cancers, yes, we combine them. So cancers that are in the head and the neck region, often we combine them. Cancers in the reproductive system, the cervix, the anus as well, the rectum, we combine chemotherapy and radiation therapy. You take the chemotherapy on specific days, but you take the radiation on every day except the weekends. And it will usually take maybe 5 weeks, sometimes 7 weeks. For prostate cancer, it goes a little longer to about 9 weeks.
Okay. Cynthia, tell us your experience. What's it like undergoing these treatments?
Well, for me, I started with the surgery and then I was asked to do the chemotherapy. But before you start, you'd have to do some medical checkups, blood counts and all that to see how your body
the state of your body.
So when I did it, I was told that I couldn't start the chemotherapy because my immune system was down. So I had to start with radiotherapy. And as Doc was saying, I had chemotherapy for about 5 weeks every day. And when I finished, I did the chemotherapy.
Radiotherapy first?
Yes, I did the radiotherapy first.
How does that paint the picture for what happens? Do they put you in a tube somewhere?
It's an X-ray kind of thing. It's a machine that you will lie on, and there is this big tube kind of thing. It's targeted to where the problem is. I had mine on the breast, so it's targeted to where the disease is. And for Kolebu, there are 2 different machines. So what I went on, I think I had to lie on that machine with the rays on about about, I think, just about 10 minutes.
Okay.
And it is every day.
Okay. Every day?
Every day except weekends, yeah.
Okay. Till now?
No.
No, okay, all right.
I did it for 5 weeks.
Okay. Why did she have to be why just 10 minutes?
So the amount of radiation is calculated, and a certain amount can be given a day to ensure that you don't have side effects immediately and later. And so it's calculated. There's a whole process that calculates
a lot of maths.
Exactly.
Okay.
A lot of physics as well.
All right.
That eventually gives the time.
Okay. Did you have any side effects from the radiation?
Yeah.
Describe some of
the first thing is you do something they call simulation. That is they would find out exactly where the problem is, and they will do some markings. And they use sometimes they use indelible ink on a layman's side of tattoo ink.
Okay.
So it gives you a scar. It itches so much, and if you scratch, you get a scar.
Okay.
Yeah, and you.
That's not bad though.
Okay.
Because we match where we are treating every day. So that little scar, it helps you to always get the right spot.
Okay. All right.
It's uncomfortable.
Okay. Yeah. She who feels it does it, right?
Exactly.
It's uncomfortable, right?
Very uncomfortable because you don't have to scratch. But and
the edge is there.
Yeah.
So how did you discipline the edge?
Well, I was asked to use shea butter.
Okay.
Or some creams that would help soothe it. And I started the radiotherapy, and it's like a fatigue. They told me it's called radiation fatigue. So you become so tired. You can't, for me, I don't know about others, but for me, you would become so tired. You can't do anything. For me, walking was difficult for me after radiotherapy. I couldn't just do anything. And chemo is also another thing altogether.
Talk to us about chemo.
Chemo, I had 5 or 7 cycles of chemo. No, 8, I think.
How long is each cycle?
It depends.
Okay.
And again, as the doctor said, it depends on everybody's. So my first time I started the chemo, I think I started around 9 and I finished around 6 thereabouts.
Still lying down like that?
No, for chemo it's different.
What do you do?
You sit. It's an intravenous kind of, it's an injection given to you through the veins. So it's like a drip. So you sit and you receive it.
And does it affect do you feel nauseous?
Very.
Okay.
You feel nauseous, you feel tired. Sometimes during the period you're receiving the chemo, you would be itching. Some of the drugs you will be itching, but it's for a short period.
Okay.
And sometimes during the period you feel nauseous, like throwing up and all that.
Did you ever throw up?
Not during the period, but after.
If you wanted to go and pee, what happened?
They would give you the tube, and then you would go to the washroom.
You go with the tube. Okay. Eat?
Yeah.
If you wanted to eat, you sit there and eat.
You have to eat.
Okay. But how did you distract your mind? I mean, if you're sitting there with this tube in you and you know that these chemicals are going in your body, how did you keep your mind away from what was happening?
Well, as I said, the doctors in Kolebu did very well because they would psych you. They would take you through proper counseling. So before you get in there, you know, they'll paint the picture for you. So you know what you'd be going through. You know that it will take this number of time. This is what you will be feeling. So it's like reliving what you've been told. So
you're prepared.
Yeah.
In a way. Okay. Great stuff. Thanks for sharing with us. Dr. Ayete, so with these treatment plans, I'm sure everybody's plan is different, right? And what's the guarantee that they feel better?
Oh, after we've done the treatment?
Yes.
That really depends on at what point we get your cancer. So if you find cancer early, 90% of the time we can cure you. Well, there are a few cancers that don't toe that line, but generally, if you find your cancer early and we intervene early with appropriate treatment, you can live for many years after that.
How can we find cancer early?
That's the person who finds it will be a very rich person. But all cancers are different. You see, a cancer like cancer of the cervix, the cervix is accessible. You can look, you can take a sample yearly So for cancer of the cervix, we can find it very early if you are regularly being checked. Cancer of the breast as well. There's the mammograms that we do, although the mammograms are most effective after the age of 40. And the screening probably best in your 50s. The problem though is that in cancer, in Ghana, we find our cancers a little early.
Why?
It's not too clear. Our race gives us certain genetic predispositions. Black
people are more likely to get cancer?
Certain cancers, or certain types of cancers.
Okay,
so men, African men, are most likely to get prostate cancer. And are most likely to get the most aggressive type of prostate cancer.
Is it linked to sexual activity? Are African men having too much sex?
No. Unfortunately, no. If it was sex, we could tell them to reduce the number, exactly. But no. So far, no. Breast cancer as well, we know that the worst type is common in black people, black women. So it's different for every site. Colon, for example, as well. We can have access to your colon doing a colonoscopy. And in fact, when you do it at age 50, you don't need to do it again till you are 60.
What does the colon do for us?
That's where your poop will go through.
Okay.
Excess fluid will be collected, and then it will come out as feces.
Okay. How about the head, neck area?
Okay. So the head and neck area, we don't usually screen too much. There are parts of the world where they screen. So India, for example, there's a lot of cancers of the oral cavity, and your oral cavity is accessible, and so they would look into your mouth and look for the early signs of the cancer. Apart from that, well, if you notice any unhealing ulcer in your mouth or swelling in your neck, especially when it is not painful, you should see your doctor. Okay. And any blood discharge, usually we don't have blood from our orifices.
Yes.
So if you're having blood from your nose, it's not harmattan.
Okay.
And you are continually having it, go and see your doctor. You see a swelling or your cheek hurts, you know, things that are unusual, just go and see your doctor. Okay. They would investigate. If it's nothing, we'll give you a clean bill of health, go home, you'll be fine. But if it's something, then we can find it early and intervene.
Okay. In case you just joined us, where have you been? You're late. But we have a good conversation. You can always follow it on Facebook and on YouTube. We're looking at life after chemotherapy and radiation treatment. My guests are Cynthia Darkwa. She's a cancer survivor, and she works here, produces documentaries, good ones, right here on GTV. And she's sitting next to clinical oncologist at Kollywood Teaching Hospital, Dr. Na Adoko Ayete. Your questions can come in. I know you're very curious people like me. 055-556-1034. I'll repeat the number, and then I'll bring in to ask, send your questions to us. 055-556-1034. Now, any questions?
Sure, there are. Good morning, Doc. Good morning, dear. Here is one. Good morning, GTV. Why is it that after chemotherapy and radiation treatment, your skin turns black and you can't smell anything?
Is there a reason
for that?
It depends.
Were you fairer than this?
No, I didn't. My skin didn't turn dark. Okay. I didn't have those black palms and all those things. But not feeling, smelling anything, yes.
Your sense of smell disappeared?
Yes, but after
it's come back now?
Yeah, after the chemo, everything came
So now you can smell everything 100%?
Yeah.
Okay. If the watcher comes here, you can smell it?
I can.
All right. What happens to the skin? Why does skin become dark?
The skin changes. So it's the area where you receive. So it differs, right? After radiation, the area where you receive the radiation can darken a little bit because the cells it's like developing a scar, sort of, yes. So it's different for different people. Some people will have hypopigmentation, so their skin will become fairer than it used to be. Okay. And then some people will have darkening of the area. It gets better over time.
Okay,
yes.
Good to know. Emo.
Can cancer develop again after chemotherapy and radiation treatment? Lovelace is asking from Mataeko.
It can. It can, and as I said, if we find it early. So the thing about cancer is this. Even one cell that is left behind under the right circumstances will go back. And sometimes it can take 25 years. But when the conditions are right, it can go back.
Stubborn cells?
Stubborn cells, completely stubborn. So yes, unfortunately, cancer can come back even when we've treated you. But it's likely to come back when we treated you at the stage where the cancer is too advanced.
Okay.
So most of our therapies are most useful when the cancer is small.
Are people coming early?
Unfortunately not.
Oh.
Yes. There's a lot of, we have a lot of competitors.
Okay.
Pastors, traditionalists, all kinds of people.
Preventing you from seeing the people early.
Yes. And I always say that, well, if you believe in all of that, you accept medication that you be ingesting. If you believe in all of that, do it. I mean, pray. Go and whip the devil if you want to. But there's a physical part of it. So allow us, because we have quite a bit of knowledge.
Yes.
So that we can intervene and solve
collaborate together.
Exactly. Always works.
All right.
Here's a shout. I feel that someone needs to hear this. Thanks to Doctor and her team at Kolebu Teaching Hospital. That's from Rhoda Kennedy. I think that, like you're saying, the doctors are doing an amazing job and they should be supported and celebrated when they... This is one I find interesting. Is cancer inherited? I'm thinking perhaps hereditary something. So inheritance, I don't know, but is it something you can pass on to the next generation?
You can. You can. So there are certain genetic abnormalities that makes it likely for you to develop a cancer compared to somebody else. So you know that there are certain families where they have a lot of breast cancer or they have a lot of colon cancer. Although I must state that hereditary cause of of all cancers, there are very few. They are about 10 to 15%. So over 85% of the people who develop cancer, there's no genetics to it. It's sporadic, so it can happen to anybody.
Let me just ask you, is there a history of breast cancer in your family?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Do all breast cancers lead to removal of the breast? And the second part is a question I was also asking as I sat there listening to her story. Why is it that after several tests, the results come up negative, yet cancer is still there?
Is it hiding?
So a lot of the initial sample taking that we do, it's sampling. So there's supposed to be a mass, right? And you go in and try and take some. The best is if you can locate it, localize it, and biopsy. So that's why in her case, when they use the ultrasound guided, because that one you can see the mass and you direct the needle into it. But for masses that are usually big, you would just hold it in place and take a sample exactly. Sometimes because it's sampling, it may slip
and miss it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then it will take normal tissue.
Right.
So that's basically what it is.
How many times did you test before they kind of found it?
I think I did a biopsy 3 times before I did the ultrasound biopsy.
Okay. All right. Thanks. T.
This is quite specific. So if your prostate is 144 cc in size, does it mean it's a cancer? I don't even know what this person is. I presume you would.
It is, yes. Actually, I do a lot of prostate cancer. So not necessarily. The size of your prostate does not necessarily mean you have prostate cancer.
What is 144 cc? I mean, cc, yeah.
It's liters. So yes, centiliters basically.
Okay.
This is 500
milliliters.
Yes. So what, a quarter of this will be less, about that.
1/4 of this.
Yes, probably.
That's huge for a prostate.
Not quite.
It's not?
Yes. So you can have prostate enlargement, usually for older men. You can have prostate enlargement that is benign, so it's not cancerous.
It's big, but it's not causing any problem.
But that also may be removed.
Yes, because you have difficulty urinating or sometimes the urine won't come, things like that, yes. But it doesn't mean it's a cancer, no.
All right.
Okay. So how do I prevent cancer? And does obesity lead to cancer?
Unfortunately, yes. And I always like to say that 30% of the time you can prevent cancer. It's a good thing. When it comes to cancer, we don't have too many large percentages, right? So 30% of the time you can. Your lifestyle, obesity, alcohol, cigarette smoking.
Cigarette is bad.
It's bad for lung, for head and neck, for bladder, for colon, for cervix. Bottom line, cigarette smoking is bad for you. Yes. And then when you combine cigarette smoking and alcohol, they help each other. So that's not good. The other lifestyle things, promiscuity, not using protection, because we know the cancer of the cervix is sexually transmitted. Some other sexual activities. Oral sex, for example, predisposes you to getting cancer of the back of the throat, for example.
For both men and women?
For both men and women, yes.
Okay.
Lifestyle, obesity. Obesity is bad. For every cancer, obesity is a risk factor. I'm always telling people to lose weight. It's a struggle, but the best you can do for yourself is to attempt to lose some weight.
Okay.
And just perhaps one more. Is it true that people with big breasts are likely to have cancer?
It's so not true.
Not true.
Not at all.
But do you hear this a lot? Some of these
people ask, but there's a guy saying, "Agbo shilling." The big one can get it, the small one can get it. Sometimes I see a breast that has breast cancer, I'm like, you are so cruel. There's nothing there, so why is the cancer here? But it doesn't matter. Anybody can get breast cancer.
Okay, Kath, that's it on my side.
Oh, yeah,
thank you, Doc.
Thank you.
Cynthia,
how expensive is this treatment?
Very expensive. Very, very expensive.
Give us some numbers.
I can't remember, but the surgery, thanks to NHIS, it covered some parts of it. I think I was supposed to pay about 3,000 on something, but at the end I had to pay, I think, 1,000 and something. The radiotherapy is not covered by NHIS. And I think it was, I don't remember how much, but I didn't want to remember the costs.
How did you fund it?
Well, thanks to my sister, family, and friends, they supported me.
Okay.
So that's how I found it. I funded it, and the corporation paid some part of it.
Okay. GBC?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just about 2,000.
They supported you small?
Yeah, small.
Okay.
But it's very expensive. Chemo is expensive, radiotherapy is expensive, everything is expensive. And for me, I am through with chemo, I am through with radiotherapy, but I have to do hormonal therapy.
Okay.
So I'm given a drug. Again, thanks to NHIS, it covers you for a year. I think they assume that after a year you should be fine. But if you have to continue, you'd have to pay. So that drug, Herceptin, it's 6,000 per drug, and you'd have to be taking it every 3 weeks. So if you are paying from your pockets, you should imagine how much you would be paying.
Exactly, yeah.
And after every 3 weeks, or whenever you're going for every treatment, you'd have to do your labs, and it's also costly. I mean, you'd have to pay.
Yeah. What's your word, final word for people who are living with cancer, who have gone for or are thinking about, okay, they've been told chemotherapy, radiation, you've been through it, what do you tell them?
Well, I think what I would say is, yes, you will go through the pain, yes, you will go through all the things that you'd have to go through, but you would be fine.
Okay.
And the doctors, thank God we have the facilities, we have the personnel, so you don't have to sit and die out of cancer. For me, that is what I think. Gone were the days where we didn't know about the treatment, we didn't have the facilities, you have to travel, but now we have the facilities. If it's not enough, but we still have them, and you can access them. You see people from Nigeria, Ivory Coast, other people coming to Ghana to find treatment. So why do you sit in Ghana and die out of cancer? And cancer is not something that I would say that it's, to quote Abun Samyare, so you would take it to the pastors, and yes, you can pray. I believe in prayers, but you have to seek medical attention. And the doctors are willing to take you through all that you have to go through. For me, I can sit in front of a doctor for 20 to 25 minutes, and they have all the time for you. So I don't think you have to die out of cancer.
So you're hopeful?
Very hopeful. And I just want to say that the government should come. I think some of the people don't go because of the costs. So maybe if it is fully paid by NHIS, then people may consider seeking treatment.
Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, Kaf.
I'll leave you with the last word, Dr. Ayete. What do you want people to take away from this conversation?
Basically, that cancer is real. It's a physical illness. And so if you feel abnormal, just go to your doctor.
Right.
If it's nothing, we'll tell you go home.
That's all.
If it's something, we can intervene.
All righty. Thank you so much. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
As Cynthia is saying. So Dr. Nada Okoyete is a clinical oncologist, a cancer doctor at Kolewui Teaching Hospital. And Cynthia Dakwa is a cancer survivor, but most importantly to us, a friend and a powerful producer. Go and do your thing.
Thank you.
All right then. That's our conversation on health check. We're going for rush hour, and another powerful person will be presenting that one. Wait for her.
Welcome to this side of the breakfast table, and so quickly Jay is going to be joining us shortly from the La Palm traffic light, and he's looking at what traffic looks like from that part of Accra, and he's on our screens now. Good morning, Jay. What's happening? We know that some of the principal streets are going to be closed because of the ECOWAS meeting. Are you seeing any traffic updates? Have you seen any barriers? What's happening by way of traffic?
Thank you so much. So good morning once again. It's hashtag GTV Breakfast. Val, before I mention anything about traffic being cordoned off and everything, I just want to say that was a very somber discussion CAF just had. And I just want to say Cynthia, she is very strong and she's pulled through. And I just want to say congratulations. People are going through a lot that we don't know about. So that was quite good to hear her story. So congratulations to her. This morning, I'm at the La Palm side of things, monitoring the traffic situation here at this side. As you asked earlier, for now, we don't see how the road which will be cordoned off has affected this side. But monitoring the traffic situation here, I just want to mention the fact that we are on the main road, and what's happening at the moment is the traffic lights are not working. So what happens is a lot of people are zooming past, and then, for instance, for those who are coming from the Gifford Road, maybe from 37, the La Township, trying to enter the main road, they have to struggle a lot, all because the traffic lights aren't working. And what happens is that's not the only thing. For pedestrians who have to cross to the other side and who are also coming across the road, they also face a very, very tough time. So at the situation here right now, you just want to appeal to MTTD to bring somebody to just come help the affairs here and control the traffic, because what's happening here is quite dangerous. It could lead to an incident because nobody wants to stop on the main road for those who are coming from the Gifford Road to enter, and it's like they have to inch their way slowly to the other side. You can imagine if this is what is happening for vehicles, then what's happening for two pedestrians. So that's the situation right now, and you can see this area receives a lot of traffic from Tema, Teshi, Nungwa, all the way from Ashama as well. All of them coming this way, and from here they can go either towards 37 or they can go all the way to Circle or Accra. So for now, this is the situation. You can see a lot of cars coming through this way, and you realize the vehicles just waiting at the traffic lights for a while because they just don't know how they can get to the other side. And if you look for those who are heading towards perhaps Tema, who are heading towards Teshi, who are heading towards Nungwa, for that side there isn't that much traffic for them. So they just, once they get to that side, it's just smooth sailing for them. It's just when they want to enter the main road, that's when they face a lot of traffic. And to wrap up, I'd like to turn your attention towards those who are going perhaps towards Circle or Accra, and there isn't that much traffic for those heading in that direction, coming from that direction and heading in that direction as well. So if you are heading there, I believe you face traffic when you get to La Polyclinic area and when you get to the main part of Accra. So for the rush hour updates here from the La Palm traffic lights, the intersection here, for now, this is what we have for you. Back to you, Val, in the studio.
Jay, for this report. And so that was Jay who came to us with what traffic looks like from the La Palma area, and we are employing the MTTD to send the personnel over there to man affairs, because it might get chaotic in a few. Not that it will get chaotic in a few minutes. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. Remember, we are live on YouTube at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, live on Facebook as the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We're on Twitter as the GBC Ghana, and Instagram as GBC Online. Of course, if you want to join the conversation, you can do that via our WhatsApp number, which is 055-5561034. Join the conversation by using the hashtag GTV Breakfast. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Oh, today he has been extra sweet, and the way he looks at me.
I have done everything by the book. It's on. Hey, but I have to get some condoms, Charlie.
Using a condom will protect you and your partner from HIV, STIs, and unplanned pregnancy. Condoms are an effective way for protection against HIV infection. Don't take risks. Use a condom every time. Always come prepared.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and Ghana Health Service.
From 1921 to 2021, the journey to our centenary has been amazingly worthy. Azar Group is 100 years and continues to achieve greatness.
Main brands which were in the company are Azar Tex, which is an emulsion paint, texture paints, which we were the first people to produce it in Ghana, and Azar Gloss, which is oil paint. We were the first people to produce the carpenter's glue. Now we have new products like silicone paint.
Join Azar Group celebrate 100 years and to create another brilliant 100 years together.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbors.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables.
So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Yeah. Can I show what is written on the back?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling healthy.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votras here at that time of the morning?
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
Coming live from the capital.
12 minutes past 7. Thank you for watching GTV. We are on DSTV as well on channel 278, and it's live on YouTube and Facebook. Look for Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. Well, there'll be an exclusive interview with the EU ambassador to Ghana in the next hour, so you stay tuned for that. And there'll be some drumming with a master drummer, Paco. He sits down with Valerie in the last hour of today's show. For now, I've been joined by the man who speaks for the National Chief Imam. His name is Sheikh Arimiao Shaibu. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam. Thank you so much.
It's been a week now.
Yes.
How has the week been? I mean, what have you been up to? What has Chief Imam been up to?
The Chief Imam has been very busy the last weekend. You know, he is closely in touch with the lowest of society. So sometimes you might even fault him and say, why is he having time for all these things? Sometimes just simple naming ceremony, but just to keep the people together. Then those things engage him a lot. And sometimes it wears him down because of the age. Yeah. So as I came back yesterday, I was told he was not feeling very well. So he took it easy the whole of yesterday. And hopefully this morning I'll get back there to see how he's been doing.
It must be a unique life, you know, to be 102. Are there any classmates? Has he had any classmates?
No, in fact, if you ask him now, he himself cannot remember except one person in Kumasi. One of the very elderly Muslim clerics by name Sheikh Malam Rashad. He himself mentions that among even that one, he is older than him, but he happens to be within
the same
generation.
Wow.
And so therefore he remembers that among those that he's learnt together with in his learning career, he remembers that apart from him, all the scholars of his generation
would have gone.
Gone. And probably there must be a reason why God has left him.
Exactly. It's not a joke.
Yes.
Yes. Our warmest regards to him. I'm just thinking also, you know, the Nima Mamobi disturbances of about 2 weeks ago. Any developments on that front?
Yes. In fact, we are still in meetings and consultations. Like I said the last time, this issue needs to be looked at not from the criminality point of view alone. For example, if you are dealing with somebody whom society has neglected, and because of that neglect, the person has assumed a certain inferior posture, and inferiority manifests in different forms. So such a person may not have anything good to offer society, because, for example, if you deny any single person respect and you deny him love, he will not have what it takes to love and to respect others and to respect life. And so that is the angle we are looking at. So it's a whole long-term kind of program, including psychologists, social psychologists, security analysts and security experts, and then bringing in the spiritual and the religious side. If you take the religious approach alone, I am saying on authority that it will not work. It has to do with working on the person's psyche, his psychology, and then the religious bit now comes under now when he's conscious. Yes. And so such consultations are ongoing, and we hope that when the time comes, we'll have to involve all of you to assist us.
Inshallah. We're joined by Dr. Lawrence Tete, founder president of Worldwide Miracle Church. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, as Sheikh Arimiao Shaibu always reminds me. Doc, Tete,
I'm hearing.
It's been a week now. What's new on your side? Have you made the move to Apiati already? You said you were going to do an event there. You've been there?
In fact, I've spoken to Madam Josai,
I'm even hosting her on my TV program this Sunday.
Okay.
Talking to her and a few stakeholders.
Okay.
So we will be there. Okay. We hold a 3-day crusade there.
Okay.
So we are working everything out.
All the best. Our headlines in today's papers. So we're going to start with Ghanaian Times. ECOWAS holds heads of state summit in Accra today. So if there's any traffic that you're experiencing on some of the major roads, that is the reason why it's happening. We will account for e-levy, Finance Minister. And Asibe Yeboah urges government to return to the IMF. Daily Graphic, more e-levy issues. Financing development projects. We cannot avoid taxes, says the president. Time to fund development from within, says the finance minister. And there has been a reinstatement of Professor Avoke. The court has ordered it. Finder, consumer confidence dips, business sentiment is robust, says the Bank of Ghana survey. And the Daybreak says Nana defends e-levy. So it's mainly tax issues. But let's start with the ECOWAS Heads of Summit meeting today. It's an extraordinary one. And it's because of what's been happening in the sub-region. So, you know, Burkina Faso have overthrown their government. Guinea-Bissau, a couple of days, tried it, and it was foiled. Last year, we heard about Guinea, we heard about Mali, we know what's happening in Chad. And the Malians have kicked out the French ambassador and welcoming in the Russians. It seems that the environment in West Africa is not very stable. And ECOWAS, of course, is concerned. The chair is our president. And I'll give you a couple of details. So, this meeting is happening. It is going to affect our traffic and everything, but that's the least of our problems. The issue is that West Africa is bubbling right now. And both of you have this international outlook. So I want to start with you, Dr. Tete. What is your reading of the environment as it stands right now?
I think it's not very good, and we should not take it for granted at all. Apart from the agitation, this is also very spiritual. It spills over, and so we need to be very mindful. I like the fact that these extraordinary meetings have been there, and I have a saying that we should learn to walk the talk. We should not just come and play lip services in meetings like this. We should call a spade a spade. If it's happening in Mali, and it's happening in Guinea, and it's happening in Burkina Faso, and it's happening in Guinea-Bissau, we should not be taking things for granted. The stability that we seem to be enjoying now, with all the noise we make as Ghanaians, it's better for us to live under environment that is not a military ruled environment. And so we need to be very mindful. And our stakeholders and of course security analysts should start getting into the bottom of what causes all these agitations. There is a reason why soldiers get up to pick up the weapon. And we must make sure we avoid all those unnecessary tensions. It is like armed robbery. When you look at what, in fact, Sheikh says something now, it makes so much sense to me. That the reason why certain people will get up to act in Mamobi or Nima in the manner they did was because of the way they were brought up and certain that led towards it. So lawlessness comes when things are not put in proper place. We need our politicians to wake up from the whole sub-region to realize that they have to put things in perspective so that we don't give room to situations like this. Lives are being lost. Peoples are being dispositioned. And whether we like it or not, there are a lot of prominent people in society who will become refugees when these situations happen. And that is why politicians at any given stage should not take their positions for granted at all.
You have an economics background. What's happening, it looks like it's political or military in these countries, but what's the economic basis for some of these things? People overthrowing governments.
I think greed. You know, if you look at the reasons why most soldiers have taken up the gun, they feel like certain people are not treating them fair, and there's some level of greed. And that is what brings about this unnecessary, unruly behavior. And I must say something that I condemn. It is not the best. It doesn't help with governance. In government, we learn something, government by the people, with the people, for the people. And if the government is not really seeking the welfare of the people, that is what normally happens. So we need to be very mindful. As a matter of fact, we need to take into consideration the plight, the plead, and the pain of the downtrodden. Otherwise, people will always get up and seek and fight for their rights, and it's very sensitive.
There's a piece, opinion piece in today's Daily Graphic Shake by Mohammed Baba Idi, and he is making an argument that there's weakness in ECOWAS, and there is this unsolicited bravery of or courage of these uniformed men to think that they can solve problems. And you know, when you have a lot of undemocratic realities and ECOWAS doesn't step in, they are creating a void that these soldiers will jump in.
Yeah, I mean, he's making a point. Anytime the political elites behave in a manner as to erode the respectability and the confidence that the public has in them, then a certain motivation is created in those who think by the gun and the use of fear they can take over power. And we have seen all the time the military come in like that. For example, one of the bad examples, or if you like, tendencies of some members of the political presidents, for example, the attempt to violate their own constitution, for example, in terms of the terms of their tenure, to forcibly cause a change, a provision of constitutions that they can elongate their stay in power.
Our neighbor, Cote d'Ivoire.
I mean, you see, and that is why in some of the cases you find that when the people step in, they have popular support.
Yes.
And that is the danger of it. The military people have been trained to protect our territorial integrity and to ensure that as a country we are safe. That is their work. But that they also think that they have also been trained in a way to plan and to manage things. So if those who have been elected are letting them down, then they think that that's a regression of our democracy. Mm-hmm. Because I have not seen any of the military people who has finally, successfully solved all economic problems, even though they come on the back of such accusations like corruption, and we're still living with this corruption. So I think that the political class, elite class, need to set up to look at the issues of governance very well, i.e. equal share of the national cake, guarantee well-being of the people, ensure safety and security, avoid corruption, greed, discrimination. I mean, these are things that you don't need a certain, it's not a rocket science to do this. But once you deny people this, then you create opportunity for, and so he's making a very good point, and I think it is gradually making ECOWAS irrelevant, because when you step in and you can see clearly that the citizens of the country have no respect for you, they are giving support to the military and so on. And so you go, you talk, and they don't even mind you. It happened in Sudan. It has happened in Mali. Mali is on this situation now. And now Burkina Faso has come. Equatorial Guinea, they attempted, they did not. So
Guinea-Bissau, yeah.
And Guinea-Bissau, and especially also the arc is now on the francophone countries. Yeah. We must ask the question: is it going to inspire the Anglophone countries also to also follow the trail? It is important, and so our governance experts need to set up.
What would you tell if you had a chance to address the ECOWAS leaders today?
Yeah.
What would be your message to them?
I think what they need to do first is to do their own peer review, and then have the courage to tell their fellows in the face. Like, for example...
They should check themselves.
Check themselves. Yeah. If Cote d'Ivoire, what Cote d'Ivoire did was wrong, we should not keep silent on it. And we should not make him a leader or a participant in an approach to solve the Malian problem. That was a big contradiction. That was a big contradiction. When Mugabe was doing it, we all cried. We didn't like it. So how long do you want to perpetuate yourself in power? And that is why, without the politics, I applaud our president who clearly, openly said it. And I say, look, there's nothing wrong applauding what is already plausible. To make a public declaration that I will be a departure from that, so we can inspire, so we can have the moral courage and strongest moral grounds to say, look, my brother, and say publicly, even though respect for sovereignty, but my brother, as a peer, what you are doing is wrong, and it's going to plunge your country. And what it happens, we may not have what it takes to be able to save. Let's speak, the facts more on the basis of principles. We are not disrespecting the sovereignty of any country, but since we have also accepted to be members of a certain platform we call ECOWAS, in other words, we have certain common challenges and common opportunities we want to share and stabilize. We want to project the sub-region and by extension the whole of the African continent. If you hear the resources the African continent has, the resources and the manpower, go into our history. Sheikh Anta Diop of Senegal, if you hear his writings,
powerful.
I mean, so what brains is it that Africa does not have? What brains? Is it the strength? It is by our strength and energy that America was built. So when it comes to physical energy,
we have it.
We have it. When it comes to skills, why are we talking about the source of world civilization? They say it's Egypt. Look at the pyramids. What was the technology at the time? What is the mathematical calculation? How
people build them?
The mathematical exactitude of that thing, that still we are proud of. So why is that what we call in quotes the developed world is far ahead of us, and we now have to create the push out. There's something called the pull in and the push out factors. For ours, this one is a push out factor, and that's why our young people cannot contain it, and they risk traveling across the vagaries and the risk of the desert to die on the road. And some of them on the Italian, how do you call that?
The Mediterranean Sea.
Mediterranean Sea. There's a specific place for it where these people have been drowning. These boats.
Yes.
I've forgotten the name.
Yeah.
And any time they mention
of Italy there,
of Italy,
around Spain,
yes,
that area is.
I don't know why I've forgotten the name.
It's not Sardinia, no.
No.
Lampedusa.
Yes. Island of Lampedusa.
Yes.
Well, if you were a priest, you would have
won it.
Just give me the trophy, man.
You see it?
Yes.
Not once, not twice.
Every time.
What is it that is emboldening, motivating these young people to traverse these dangers? They just want something to eat. Just something small to eat, earn a living, feel dignified, which their own country is not offering them. And they think in the land of the white man, that's where they can have dignity of life. And when they go, they risk themselves. Why can't our leaders think along these lines?
So that will be your message to them.
That is my message. This man who is it in South Africa? Is it
Malema? Julius Malema?
No, he speaks very well. I don't remember his name. He's been talking a lot on Africa.
A politician?
A politician.
South Africa.
Is it particularly Lumumba or
something? PLO Lumumba.
Yeah.
Kenyan.
Oh, sometimes when you hear him speak, some people are against him, all right.
Yes.
But usually when you speak more ferociously about the principle and the truth of life, you find people who are opposed to you, who will send you to the cleaners. They will not take advantage to listen and reflect on the facts and the truth and the values that motivates your speech.
I hope the ECOWAS leaders lying down in their beds or preparing to go for the meeting are watching GTV and listening to you, because this is the message that you have for them.
Yes, it is the message I have for them. Look, you seek political power not for personal aggrandizement. I say politics, genuine politics, is to passionately seek for political office in order to render service to your people. Right. It is not for, but unfortunately today, it's the shortest cut to make money. And I talk to young politicians. Look, the old ones are going. You are the next ones who are coming. Those of us who are above 60, if you speak to me now, I can never claim to want to become a president of this country. No. It's not part of my passion. I don't think I'm cut for that. You know, but you who have made it your profession, you, the young people who has made your profession, because politics has now become a profession.
Indeed.
So since it's your profession, attach purpose, principles, and values to it.
Indeed.
For whose reason are you engaging in this politics?
That's a good question.
For you to become a politician, you learn how to insult, catch the eye of the one who is the potential president, catch his eye, because he can appoint you. And when you come, you go in for personal self-aggrandizement, take what you can get some pittance and give it to people who hail you when you come. If you are not like that today, you don't. And I like this man's speech where he said that in Ghana, we pay people to talk. We don't pay people to think. We have NDPC. For goodness sake. So why have we established this? Why are we in these woes? Why are we hurting ourselves? And it's happening in other countries. You have very little resources, but you waste the resources. Niger, come to Nigeria. A country with huge human and material resources. The minerals in Nigeria, when you look at Nigeria, you see what is happening there. They can't have enough electricity. When you go into Nigeria now, everybody has small panel, what do you call it, generator. And some of the smaller ones, they call it, I pass my neighbor.
Because your neighbor is in the darkness, and at least you have some light.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Dr. Dete, what would be your advice to these ECOWAS heads of state? What would you tell them?
I think we need to be very serious.
Very, very serious.
And we shouldn't take it for granted at all. Anything can happen to anybody at any time.
I mean, there's 16 members of ECOWAS. If 4 of them, that's 25% of the club where coups and attempted coups
you know,
that's a lot.
In economic terms, can you imagine how many people have snaked out of Burkina Faso into Ghana now? You have no idea. How many people we are still nurturing from Liberia? How many people we are still nurturing from Sierra Leone? How many people have made Ghana their home from Ivory Coast? We must think outside the box. And sometimes the sad thing is that when you begin to say things, people in government or people in politics think you are being personal. But we have to be personal in order to make it. We are not being wise. Politicians must wake up to use a lot of wisdom to handle this thing. Because it's better to have little than to have much that a gun will be at your head for it. And we need to wake up. What is happening in the sub-region is not safe. It's not a comfortable situation unless you are not open-minded. It's not comfortable at all. If it's happening to Mali, and it's happening to Guinea, and it's happening to Burkina Faso, and it's just happening in Guinea-Bissau, we need to all wake up. All the ECOWAS leaders must wake up from their sleep to realize that this thing must be nipped and buried. Otherwise, nobody is safe.
I'm wondering how this thing works, because now it's an ECOWAS Heads of State Summit. These coup leaders, are they invited to the table?
Normally they are invited.
They're invited?
Normally they are invited, but extraordinary meetings are also held behind closed doors from them. This is like if they are the ones being discussed. Some people also come with attitude, but already they've made up their mind, and they know some of their colleagues anyway who are criticizing them are doing worse than the other people. So just like somebody is being sent from Ivory Coast to go and monitor a situation in the country when they know that Ivory Coast problem has not been solved yet. I mean, we didn't clean the spots in our eyes, and we are going to clean some of the spots. So I think collectively, everybody who is a leader in the ECOWAS community should wake up. And my prayer goes to Nanado, I must confess. My prayer goes to him, because leadership at this time now is a very sensitive thing. You need to be smart, you need to be wise. He needs the wisdom of Solomon to be able to carry through, because this is the time that the strength of a leader is seen. So I pray that as a Ghanaian, and always Ghanaians have been a safe haven, and we've been the ones that have led the way. So may the Lord use the Ghanaian leadership and that Ghanaian gift spirit to help our president to be able to speak not just his mind, but the wisdom of God.
Well said. My guest.
You know, I attended election observation in Liberia some years back.
Yeah, because of course you used to be on Kodio.
Yes,
you're still on Kodio.
It's on everything. It's on everything.
And we're deployed into the countryside. I mean, the River Sea, maybe you have traveled a lot.
Liberia.
In Liberia. Look, it's sad.
What did you see?
The state of the road and the condition of the people, the villages that we drove through. At one point, we had to get off our cars for our driver to wade through the water. Sometimes we get stuck. We have to all get in, push our truck out of it. And yet, you hear that, let's say the president, for example, has a private jet. Can you ever fly in a private jet when your people are in this condition? Simple hospital you don't have at villages, a cluster of villages, which I always call that the village people, what do they need? Hospital, they don't need hospital like Kolebu or Komfanochi. L-shaped building, sink a borehole, get one medical expert, one camp. And then if it's like in the northern region, some motorbikes, some few nest quarters.
Finish.
And see whether women who are giving birth will not be catered for. This is a matter for just one philanthropist who can just go and offer this. And government puts on this. And the poverty of your country, you fly in private jet. Wow.
I don't know how much you've been to the sub-region, but sometimes when you go around West Africa and you come back to Ghana, we should be thanking ourselves. If you land in Sierra Leone, you land in a different place from the capital, Freetown, and you have to go in a boat. I remember about 4 years ago when the new president was being endorsed, I was there with the then Speaker of Parliament, Professor Makokwe, and the Zoom Lion team, and were guests of the president. And it was a very sad situation. You go there and you realize it's you go to Liberia, like Israel is saying. In fact, go to some of the neighboring countries. These things are as a result of the fact that individuals want to be enriched overnight and they leave the masses. And that is what causes it. In fact, every leader today who is not looking at this situation must bury his head in shame. And it's not enough to come in with all the protocols. All our streets are blocked. Fine, we are happy for the streets to be blocked. But this should produce a result. It should not just be a one-day wonder where we would not be able to walk the talk.
Well said. What is your view? I'm a curious guy. I'm paid to talk, but hopefully it's productive talk. Reverend Dr. Lawrence Tete, Shaibu are my guests at the table. And of course, the big issue is the ECOWAS, extraordinary ECOWAS heads of states meeting here in Accra under the chairmanship, presidency of our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And let us hope that their conversations and deliberations are fruitful and that there is a long-lasting solution to the things that we experience in this, our neighborhood. You know, they say global village. We are part of the village, you know. So something that happens in one corner of the village, we should be concerned about it. The WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Still to come, a one-on-one chat with the EU ambassador to Ghana and some drumming on Valerie's side of the table. Okay, let's do some other headlines now. E-levies and taxes. So the president is thinking about ECOWAS and he's also thinking about e-levy. So he said he's been defending e-levy. You see a story Daybreak. He also says it is time to fund development from within. Okay, that's his finance minister saying that. And the president says we cannot avoid taxes. Financing of development projects requires that we pay taxes. So he says, we, and I quote, we ourselves will have to find the money for our development, and that is the reason it has become necessary for us to introduce the famous tax, which has caused so much disputation. The introduction of the e-levy, he said, was necessary for the government since the country could not continue forever to be dependent on foreign grants and loans to keep the country going. Finance Minister says, well, it's now time, the borrowing, the assumption is that the borrowing is now is enough. It's now time to fund from within, and he's assuring us that we will account for the e-levy. Meanwhile, there's a gentleman who is urging us that we should go back to the IMF. Remember, we had to go back to the IMF and for help. You see, the IMF, they come in when you're not disciplined. Yeah, then they will show you how to spend your money. And it's a painful thing, you know, even on the micro level, if somebody gives you money and now directs you how to spend it, it's almost like you are not responsible. And then now we have to show you how to do it. Now, Asibe Yeboah is a former MPP member of Parliament for New Job in the South, and he has urged the government to go back to the IMF for financial support and assistance due to the economic challenges the country is facing. There's nothing wrong with Ghana returning to the Bretton Woods institution because our nation is a member of the IMF. So there's a whole bunch of numbers there. Check it out in today's Ghanaian Times. But Sheikh, money matters are serious matters. I mean, you step out of your house, you look at the fuel station numbers. That's what I do every day. Fuel is now 7 cedis 50 pesos a litre. You know, we need money to fund issues. There's been a lot of borrowing, and the debt is high, and it appears now that we are being asked to pay more taxes to fund development. What do you make of the conversations going on so far with respect to the e-levy and the need for us to fund our development more internally now?
From the days of Yintia. Yintia.
This is Sachapo, right?
That's a jump.
In the 70s.
To the time when we are asked, tighten your belt.
GG.
To the time when we are told we've eaten the meat to the bone. To the time of HEPIC. To the time now, e-levy. And to the time that now we are reeling under the heavy weight of external debt. Every government that has come has increased the weight of debt on us. I'm yet to find a single government that has come that has not increased. So, who solved this problem? So, most of the issues that I'm looking at it is, okay, all the time it's like, okay, I'm bad, but you are worse. It's not about I'm good, you are better. So the regression in the way that we are managing our economy that's what has brought us to this point. During Kufuor's time, when the economic reality stared at us in the face, and we went HEPIC, and we felt it was even denigrating that Ghana could be declared in the eye of the global community that we are a heavily indebted country. Are we going back to that? And if we are not going there, back to that place, what is the solution? And I heard one of the financial experts, he puts it in this language that the e-levy is a bitter quinine.
Quinine already is bitter, so when you add bitter
so he added the bitter, that we have no alternative but to take it. So the government is now spreading their arms left and right center, looking for solution. What should we do? The NDC, when they were in power, what they did, is that the Senchi?
Senchi consensus, yes. They had a meeting in Senchi, yes.
I think, in addition to what is happening now, if that kind of approach could also be adopted, the reality of our economy is that we are heavily indebted. Is it the best for us to go back to IMF? If we go back to IMF, in the understanding and judgment of the financial and economic experts, what are the implications? You see, some of these things, when it comes, I think we should put aside our political egos.
Just like Dr. Asibe Yeboah, who is a new Patriotic Party member,
yes,
has suggested, they say, listen, there's nothing wrong with it. Go to IMF and go and get help.
So if
you think he's bold, he's being bold?
Well, probably it's an opinion, but it is for those who are in charge of the economy to also say, look, let's listen to the gentleman, analyze what is the basis. Can we even call him to listen to him? So what is the basis? Why are you asking? Have you considered all the implications if we go? Of what advantage is it to us? How fast or otherwise will it help in reducing our burden? But that we should not allow this debate to erode our understanding of the importance of taxes. Because you see, if you joke also, and you create a mindset in the mind of the people that taxes are not good things, then you also now have to find another way of funding our national projects. Because in all the developed worlds, go to America, go to Europe, and so on and so forth, the money that they are bringing to us down here is all part of the taxpayers' money.
Of course.
So why are they paying taxes and they are able to? So I think I end on the note that even if it is accepted, can the government outline, give us clearly a roadmap to the transparency of how that money are used?
And that seems to be
now,
the problem of a lot of people.
That is the question.
How are you going to spend the money that we're giving you?
Because you see, if you don't do that, you erode confidence in the citizenry. And that's why when they rise up against, and that is when if any man with a gun comes up, he gets the popular support of the people. Now you tell the people how you have done it wrong in the past. How can you block those loopholes where the hemorrhage, the economic hemorrhage is taking place?
All right.
Okay. So that you can assure that, look, we have no alternative but to do this. But even as we do, this is the way now we can assure you. So the country needs hope and assurance.
Okay.
As to the best way we can manage our economy.
Let me talk to the economist. Dr. Tete, please put your Osofo hat aside and wear the economist hat.
Now, Ekafe, there are more questions than answers when it comes to yield levy. The question is that why are we taking an entrenched position? What is NDC leadership defending? And what does NPP leadership want to inject into the system? We must look at our home, look at our environment. And I keep saying that in our deliberations, Ghana must be first. This whole issue about yield levy is only being politicized. And that is why it went to the extent of lawmakers throwing blows in parliament. This is the reason. Now, taxes are very important for every community, but to what extent? We need to draw a point of convergence so that this whole fight will come to an end. I think, Sheikh, for me, my sadness is that we seem to be spending so much energy on this simple matter because people have taken entrenched positions and it is not good. It's not even good for our community. The people that we are supposed to be educating, we are confusing them about the yield levy issue. I've listened to some argument from Parliament and I feel very sad. On both sides, it looks as if we are looking at it more politically than taking our nation at heart. So let us get back again. I believe that in the next few days, our leaders should wake up from their attitudes, arrogance, and come to the table and discuss this again. And we'll find a lasting solution to it. Yes, taxes, but shouldn't forget that Ghana is not like Europe. Ghana is not like America. We are still an evolving nation. We are still a third world country. We're still a developing nation. And so how we handle our tax issue is very, very important. If we don't take care, the very people that we are supposed to be helping will not understand. And then also comes to this issue of, Sheikh, I have a problem with how we use jargons to explain matters of importance like this. Are you sure the man at Mokola will understand the E-levy? Are you sure somebody at Teshinungwa will understand the E-levy? There are even academics and intellectuals who are confused about E-levies. I've had people asking, and sometimes we are put on a spot, like we sit here now, as balanced as we want to be, that people will be watching and listening to you and think you are taking an entrenched stand or you want to help a particular party. So we need to get back to the table again. Stakeholders must sit up. Otherwise, this issue of E-levy can mess us up as a nation. Then, with the issue of World Bank, IMF, they don't do us any good. Trust me. They hold us on one hand and suck us from the other hand. And so, how much money are we going to be asking from IMF? I remember not long ago, we owe them less than 1 billion. The conditionality that we had for that 1 billion that was given us put the whole nation on the hold.
Freezing employment of public sector workers, capping this, just holding it.
And they send their experts to come and manage this money. So the money end up with them. They don't want us right. And so we must wake up. And that is why the word is heavy, but we must wake up from our foolishness to be able to stand on our own. Because, like my brother rightly said, we have so much resources. When we are in position, any government is in position to tell you the resources are there. When they come into power,
we don't get money.
You see, NDC has done this, MPP have done it. I remember all the campaign message. When they are in position, they tell you we have everything it takes. When we get into power, they don't have it again. And government goes, government can be the same thing. So let us get back again on the drawing board and sit down together. Because what we are doing, we are messing ourselves up. We don't need to go to IMF.
Yeah.
They have no solution for us. World has no solution for us.
We remember the comments, so Ghana doesn't need to borrow. There's no need to tax mobile money transactions. We're sitting on resources, but we are hungry. I mean, you hear all these things when you're in opposition, and then when you come into power, it's almost like, Charlie, reality hits you in the face.
All of them, both NDC leadership and MPP leadership and spokespersons, and so we should come back, and then we should learn to even be truthful to our people. The culture of insult must even stop. We are discussing the e-levy, and you hear comment from leaders that you expect to know better, throwing punchings with insults. We don't need to be casting insinuations to solve government problems. We need to govern the people by being truthful. And most time the politicians will be accusing the clergy and the leaders of religious leaders. But I think we are doing better. We are doing far better than the politicians.
All right. I, for one, I've heard so many definitions of poverty. The latest one I heard was that if you are earning 70 cedis a year, then you are poor. I guess we understand it. Another one is if you can transfer more than 100 cedis a day, you are not poor. So e-levy has brought about so many things, definitions of poverty, and it's just confusing. But
I think you should go to the local people
and then go and ask them.
When the account says "ohia," you see, we don't need to go to the white man to use the word poor. Poor.
Yes.
Because before the white man would talk about poverty, our traditional people
knew it already.
That's why they call it ohia. Ohia me.
Yes, I need it.
Right. So ask them. Papa, you can say ohia obia.
Yes.
Then
we'll know the definition of poverty and stop putting figures and things on it.
But in house, I say talauchi.
Talauchi. Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
In Ghana, how do we say it?
Poverty.
Ohia.
Ohia?
Ohia. You see,
yes. Sheikh has dropped his one gun. To the lady who speaks more Ghana than me and Sheikh combined.
Perhaps
I'll go Shilly.
Bibi Osheli. Same price.
Same price. Go ahead. Go to the messages. 055561034. Go ahead.
Thank you, Cam. Good morning, Sheikh and Reverend, and welcome to this screen. So this is where you send us your messages. We also have a mail list. So we have links that we share. You should ask to join. Messages coming in. Good morning. I'm Solo from Medina. Why are we not using the abundance of the wealth, the natural resources the Almighty has given us to develop the country rather than taxing the citizens too much, digging manhole in their pockets? That's what Bukari Tahiru is saying. I'm going to try and find more. Good morning, GBC team. The moral issue is that the military have no business whatsoever to take over the administration of any country. We've seen the military in the past, and they didn't have any good thing for us, including the so-called revolutionary eras. So they should give us the break. Meanwhile, our elected civilian leaders should sit up and do the right thing than the ostentatious, is that the word? Ostentatious lifestyle. Thank you. That's Ishmael saying that. Aaron Babakoko Komisa, good morning to you. I think we don't have appropriate government machinery that properly checks the daily dealings of government activities just to avoid misuse and corruption in our government sector. My point is The media must stop reporting government actions that are not very clear to the general public. Aaron sent us that from Latebiokoshi. Ashen says, I'm really touched with the advice Sheikh and Reverend had for the ECOWAS members. I think our countries should be handed over to the religious leaders. Wisdom at the highest point.
No, we want
love,
them to be here. Just go advise. Just advise them. Please don't go and run any country.
We don't really want it.
Just get advice. Give them advice.
Christian boy is saying, Sheikh, you have said it all, so agreeing with what you said there, Sheikh. Good morning, KT and V. That's Trisha speaking. The Sheikh and the Bishop. I concur with the Sheikh. When we take all into perspective, military rule does not bring a change. It rather drops our development. Corruption and wrongdoing are alive and kicking in government. The African leaders are from the same pot. That's according to Trisha. Let's see if I can get a few more messages. Ras, I'm going to try and navigate Ras from, that's a long one, so perhaps I'm going to skip. Taxes are good and necessary for the development of any state, but consider the hardship in this country. Salaries have not been increased, daily prices of goods increase, and employment rate is low. Therefore, this tax is not needed. Moses from Dansoman. There's a lot of insinuations going on with Mauli. I just want to avoid that. Assalamu alaikum to the host and our guests, especially Sheikh Shaibu. The youth are suffering. We cannot even rent. We have always been a burden on our parents, no strategic help from our leaders, and they are still imposing more hardship on us. Allah is always sufficient. Good morning to you as well. The Abduls is your name. Mena Hunter Franco Bab, good morning, Honorable Kaf, His Eminence Sheikh and Most Reverend Dr. Lawrence T. You fearlessly voiced it all out without any reservation. May God visit our African leaders in their dreams with chastity, so they be transformed in attitude to elevate our altitude. Charlie, vibes, as a continent.
Visit them.
Therefore, enlarging our magnitude. Maunek Plemianti. I love Thursday's GTV breakfast so much. Mina Hunter, thank you. Is attempting to also define poverty. So more definitions. Poverty is when one is impoverished of ideas to facilitate resources into good use, even if he has enough. So that's Mina Hunter's definition of poverty there. The bottom line is that the citizens cannot trust government in how they use our resources. That's according to Mary Adomens. Jacob has joined. Good morning. The questions regarding the e-levy are, is it a tax? If it's not a tax, then what is it? Taxes are on earnings and profits, or when you are spending on a commodity. E-levy is feeding on a transaction. Our conscience should guide us. Yakubo sent us that from the Gan West area. More definitions for poverty. Poverty is the lack of money to cater for basic needs like food, shelter, etc. So say then you are poor. Kaf, please, Ghana is well to do. I think we have everything like what they used to say when they are in opposition. When they come, they will fill their pockets before thinking about poor people. I still insist they should stop taking pay for 3 months to fix the country. McMahon sent us that from Agape Ablekuma. Good morning to you. I think we do not need the e-levy. Most young people do their business online, and now you want to collapse them with e-levy. This is Richard Chumesi from Tema. So the issue about e-levy is that our government misuse the money for their political machinery. That's according to Ray. Just a few more. I can't even think far. What can't you think far about? Well, good morning. I'm really following your show, and trust me, before God and man, I can run our country Ghana without blemish. In a simple way, cry with this. I don't need a degree, diploma, HND, master's, etc.
Please. It's not like that, though. It's not that simple.
It's not the master's degrees that I used to rule. Like,
you must know how to do it.
You must know how to do it. So, messages coming in. Good morning, the BFS. There's something I want to know about the Ghana card. Mine is lost, and when I went to the office to retrieve it. So, Ghana card issues are still topical, and they ask you to pay 50 cedis. We'll get some answers for you after the show. ECOWAS has failed, according to Bright DC, and Africa is now a cool zone because of some greedy leaders. They just want to wake up and be the richest people in the world. Bright sent us that from Dansoman. Do I have time to take a bit more? I think Trisha is back. We need development in our country, but we are not ready to pay the price. I think you mentioned that, CAF, and the Sheikh also reiterated that sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves that we need the revenue so we can't escape perhaps the taxes. E-levy is an indirect form of tax. Is it compulsory? And our best resources that has left underdeveloped is the human beings, but not the natural resources. A lot of things you're sending us there, Leviticus. Good morning, Dr. Lawrence. You are a blessing to this generation. I started watching you in 95 on Metro TV every Saturday and later on GTV. I love your ministry and I do greet you. And on that note, I will greet you, CAF, and I'll leave you with the Reverend.
And the Sheikh.
Yep.
All right. And from the Reverend and the Sheikh, we go to the presenter, who is going to be keeping an eye on something that is of interest to all of us. You're watching GTV. Val, what do we have?
Yep, I'm taking you back to Circle. It's day 2 after the Operation Clean Your Frontage began, and yesterday we were at Circle. Today we are actually going to the market because that's where the traders who were on the streets were asked to go. So Alan is on site. He's going to tell us if the traders are in the market and what's happening on the ground currently. Alan, hi, good morning from Circle. What's happening? What can you report?
Hi, good morning, Valerie. Welcome once again. Good morning, Ghana. It's your hashtag GTV Breakfast. And so, in the last 3 days, we've been following stuff around the country, especially the grand launching of Operation Clean Your Frontage, led and championed by the Great African Regional Minister, Honorable Henry Quartey. We were here yesterday, and we've had to follow up today to find out some of the snippets of information we've taken up while interacting with those who were moved off the pavement yesterday. There is an existing market for them, and so interesting arriving here this morning and looking at the pavement, as you can see it, so free for pedestrians to move about freely. It's absolutely amazing, and it is absolutely enjoyable that once again our pavements are free. And so if you know where I am, you can see in the distance the Odona station, and where you're looking currently is when you're coming down from the VIP station to our right on the SDC, and you're walking towards the actual in this case, you're going towards the GCC tower. You can clearly see how free the pavements are. No hawkers, apart from those vending food who will be moving in the next few hours, because we found out from them why they're on there. And they say because they're vending food, they have up until about 10 a.m. to move away, and the pavements are free again. And so that's what it is. But now we're going to go into the market where they're supposed to have been originally, and vacated it and decided to come onto the pavement. And so this is the market entrance. You can see stores setting up to my left and to my right. Some of the traders who were once on the pavement, who moved into the market, have agreed to speak to us and also express how they feel about coming to take their places in the market and also continue with their business in the market. If we pan the camera around a bit, you will see a few of them setting up. Exactly the outlay of this market. It is a massively huge one for them, and why they vacated it and took onto the pavement, only they can explain. This market historically had been up in flames more than once, but it has been restored to usable state in the past, even when it had gone up in flames. And so they will have no excuse not to occupy it and use it for business purposes. Indeed, that is why it was provided in the first place. So what you can see is the actual setting up, and they're setting up it with such speed. It's interesting how within 2 days, some of them have their stores already ready, set up for business. And they are really indeed using it to the full of their availability. I'm going to speak to one of the ladies who agreed to speak to us. Her name is Rosemary Oatville. She does sell shoes and sandals and all sorts. She was once on the pavement, but she's now in the market. And so I'm going to call her over and then interact with her. Let me go close to her. Mommy, what's up, who said why is she? But mommy, one minute, come on, GBT senior, and now no not the job pavement. And then what about market? Okay, so. And I didn't know
because me work on almost at the passing and my mama customers
say I say no about Hansi, my home, but my patch of my mate. Oh, you know, you're not the camera. You must say, I did tell me that you found I am saying, I feel yes, and make Uber, you know, and that 2 days penny about into a say, and you're my best, Susanna Hokaka. The customer you do what you buy, I say, I bet you for press a high now. If I talk, a brand new digger, I will pavement, what did you talk who how will women here will not say? I've been in here. Yo, me that say, I hear me bomb pie say, be able to ye ama what say. Me that say, and so we've just interacted with one of the traders who once traded on the pavement, and she is now in the market. Gracefully, she is trading. It will be slow to start with because it's a new environment, but then hopefully it should pick up. If you're here somewhere, you'll find that.
Right. So that was Alan who came to us with reports. The traders, some of the traders have moved into the market, and so that's some good and a step in the right direction. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. CAF is sitting down with the Sheikh and the Reverend, and they are discussing what's trending on the online portals and in newspapers. And so I'm going to hand over to CAF now. CAF,
hey,
back
Val,
to you.
Thank you very much. We're just going to wrap this up. Well, you see the comments. People seem to agree with what you're saying, that it's a serious situation with this ECOWAS thing, and they really need to look sharp.
Seriously.
Yeah, and look sharp. We're happy the meeting is happening in Ghana. They need to look sharp. And then the e-levy thing, people just do not know. And I saw some definitions of poverty, which I think is good. I'd like to know what's your definition of poverty? Okay, check it out. I'll be taking your responses on my Twitter. What is your definition of poverty? We've had Ohia in Ga and in Tree, which is interesting because it shows that those languages are related to we are one people, really. Yeah. Don't allow anybody to divide you on the basis of a language. Ohia is the same in Tree.
How do we say it?
Amadahe is a poor person. I need to
you don't have a word like that.
Yes. I know a rich person is Hotrito.
Oh, okay.
Hotrito is
Ohieni.
Ohieni, I'll find it. Yes, Ohieni is Amedahe. It's a poor person. But I'm sure there are other levels.
They evolved those words from their
experience, of course. I need it.
So they are better positioned to explain to us what poverty means.
But even in Epe, if you say I need my here nada, so that here is there.
It's still there.
Yes. So it's there. So we're all linked together, So quick comments on your topic in today's Finder, and then we'll wrap it up. So the finder says we should introduce austerity measures to support economic recovery. And then there's a story on consumer confidence. I wonder how they measure these things. The finder, I'm looking for the story, if I can find the story on consumer confidence. But they're saying that consumer confidence has dipped. Business sentiment is robust. I don't know, and Dr. Tete always talks about jargon. We should try and keep things as simple as possible.
They mystify and break things down simple so people can understand. Because the truth is that most of the problems we are having now is as a result of the fact that people don't understand certain things. I must say this, and it sounds heavy, but there are a lot of people even in Parliament today who don't understand this whole issue of debate about the levy. Only a handful of people understand what it is. And because they are political elite, people are taking a stand just to support their political party without really understanding
what the issues are. And that's why I like it with the messages, because when people ask their questions, they break it down. I mean, the way I understand e-levy, for example, is Sheikh, you go and buy fuel at the filling station. You pay for 200 cedis fuel. With cash, you will give 200. If I go and pay for the fuel with my Momo, I'll pay the 200 and you put a tax. Why are you taxing me for using my phone to pay for fuel? When we are in a digitization era where you should even be encouraging people. Have I broken it down, Dr. Tete?
You have. So for me, that is what it is. And really, if the sitting government wants e-levy to come, and they should get certain pamphlets, get people that will break the language down. And people understand. You know, a lot of people use their conscience to decide. Sometimes, as entrenched as people are politically, when they get to understand certain things, their heart will yearn for it. And we shouldn't forget that the people we are dealing with now are the same people who will be using their thumb to establish it in the next few years.
But that is the fear of on all sides. That can we capitalize, or will this hurt us? Those are the calculations people are making.
We end up losing it, rather, because we become so mechanical and we lose sight of the very detailed that we did. And the simple things work.
Your brief comments on the clean your frontage issue. We see that the regional minister is at the forefront. But do you think that we should be empowering our mayors more on the ground? I mean, the regional minister is a policy man. Why should he be jumping into these issues?
I think he needed to take the initiative. I've had certain experiences. I've noticed some of the mayors, some of the MCs are not able to put their feet down because they were supported by certain people. They were encouraged by certain people. Certain people invested into them when they were looking for their seat. And you'll be surprised some of those guys are the perpetrators of certain shops, certain stops, certain things. So they are not able to put their foot down. So I think when it comes from a regional minister, it sort of helped them. There are a few instances I know personally. Of course, I'll be too personal if I mention them. But where certain things has been done on certain roads have been blocked, certain streets have been blocked. And if you get to know it is one businessman or one assemblyman
close to the mayor,
very close to the mayor, who helped the mayor, it will be very difficult for the mayor to take that decision. So when it's coming from the regional minister, it helps most of the communities.
It will help.
And otherwise, they are not able to, and they are as human as they are. They don't want to lose faces and things. So I'm happy with the stand of the regional minister. And I must say this, for once, it should be devoid of NDC MPP. We should encourage Henry Quarty, because it will be in our interest in the long run. If we are able to clear our streets and clear our road, I'm seeing something happen in my area now that never happened. People dump stones and gravels and sands on the streets. From about 2 weeks now, certain people are clearing them. And that tells you that, and some people are moving their kiosks themselves in certain obscured places.
Progress.
And so I think progress is happening. I want to give him kudos, and I want to say our prayers are with him and Quarty, go for gold.
Go for gold. Sheikh.
No, I think it's even embarrassing if a whole regional minister has to come down before we even clean our front of our house. I mean, isn't it embarrassing? Yeah. But maybe from where he's coming from, he wants to be an inspiration. Can you imagine, assuming that the chief imam decides that, look, he was also going to hold some cleaning implement and call all the people, and he himself comes out and provide the leadership. Because he's an inspiration, and then beyond the symbolism, now they can see that there's a value, in cleaning your place clean. So I think as Ghanaians, let's speak to Ghanaians. You see, good health is connected with our good environment. Yeah. So there's no need somebody coming to tell you to clean your environment. Yeah. Take the rubbish, have a better way to dispose of them so that we can improve our health, and then keep the beauty of our surroundings.
I know Sheikh always likes beauty.
No, I mean, God himself is beauty. I mean, so look at the whole creation.
It is beauty.
I mean, so if you don't appreciate beauty, you'll be destructive.
If you do not appreciate beauty, you will be destructive. On that note, on that beautiful note, I'll have to destroy this segment. Sheikh Shaibu, my warmest regards to Chief Imam.
I will extend it to him.
Tell him I send him a hearty salam alaikum.
Yes, I'll tell him.
Yes, indeed. And Reverend Dr. Lawrence.
There's a gentleman who said he wanted to get in contact with me. If he calls the studio here, they'll be able to get in my contact. There are a lot of people who we have as our proteges.
Yes, we want to get in touch. Yes. And the platform is exposing them to you and you to them. So we thank you so much. Our Thursdays are always richer for your presence. Thanks a lot. That's our headline segment. Our WhatsApp number is not destroyed. It's still there. It's beautiful. 055-556-1034. Coming up next is a one-on-one with Ambassador Irshad Razali, who is the EU ambassador to the Republic of Ghana. He'll be sitting down with Thelma Taki, and they'll be looking at issues that are really important. Keep your questions coming in on 055-556-1034. After the ambassador goes, the master drummer will come in with rhythms that Valerie will share with you and the rest of the world. Spare a thought for our ECOWAS leaders who are jojoing around this time about issues of ECOWAS. Think about the UTAG issue. The students are going on demonstration. They say they are suffering. And so all around the public universities, they are going on demonstration. And think about your pocket. Because if you are a driver of a car, you should be looking at the signs at the filling stations. Fuel has gone up. Maximum price is 7.5. Me, I buy Ghana. So you know where I buy from. You stay. Don't go anywhere.
Make that move right now, baby. Make that move right now, baby.
So many times, by holding back, I let the good things pass me by. And then one day I asked myself the reason why. Like an answer from above, you came into my life and showed me one thing for sure. With love, nothing is certain. You got to go for it when you feel it. Everybody needs somebody to love.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on TTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate chicken vegetables.
So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what this restaurant is about?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never
skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good
morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning.
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast?
On-site restaurant.
Or room service?
We've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
Joe, where are you? Timmy, where is Daddy?
I don't know.
Joe! Please, have you seen my husband?
No, please.
Joe, is that how you are? Timmy and myself, we've been looking everywhere for you.
It's malaria.
It's malaria. He needs Artenet.
Artenet is an anti-malarial that comes in small caplet for adults and flavored suspension for children.
I'll give it to my husband myself.
Let her take care of me.
I'll take care of you.
Thank you, okay?
It's okay, baby. Don't worry, okay? Daddy is not going anywhere again.
Artenet, your ultimate quality ACT anti-malarial, is available in a pharmacy and over-the-counter medicine shop near you. Test for malaria before treatment. If symptoms persist after 3 days of treatment, please consult your doctor. Artenet, see malaria crime. This
is the Breakfast Show.
Thanks for staying on. It's still Breakfast Live on GTV, and we are having a conversation which has implications for Ghana and its development partners in Europe. So the EU has been a key development partner for Ghana for many years, and even with the exit of the UK from the Union, that support has not changed or dwindled. In fact, it's going to continue. And the European Union has adopted its multinational indicative program for Ghana for 2021 to 2027 under its new Global Europe instrument. And the programming document takes the form of a joint programming for Ghana for the 6 years that we've mentioned to develop a team Europe spirit with other European countries. So Czech Republic is in there, Denmark, France, Germany, Hungary, the Netherlands and Spain. And at the table this morning to help us understand the details of that agreement, we've been joined by the EU Ambassador to Ghana. His Excellency Razali is at the table this morning. Ambassador Razali, good morning and welcome to the table.
Good morning and thank you for having me today.
You've been in Ghana since September. What original Ghanaian something have you tried? Have you tried any Ghanaian food? Fufu, banku?
Of course. I have to say that for me, banku is ahead of fufu. Okay.
Is ahead?
Yes, I
So you
prefer
prefer
banku. I prefer banku.
One win.
But you know what? I come from Africa as well, and I grew up with something which is very close to palava sauce.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorites. So reminds me of my granny and my home country, Madagascar. So
It's a
I'm
bit
delighted.
like home. It's a bit like home for you, isn't it?
Very much so.
So we hope you and your family are settling in well. But we are here to talk about this partnership and the EU partners. You are jointly committed to certain areas. So I've seen here green growth for jobs, smart and sustainable cities, and good governance and security. Those are the three key areas for you. What informed these choices? Green growth, should I assume that it has to do with climate change, perhaps?
As you might know, one of the main priorities in the European Union at large now today is linked to the issues of sustainability, how to develop strong growth, but in the full respect of commitment to limitation to climate change, sustainability, deforestation, so on and so forth. So given the level of development of Ghana and its strong economic growth, DIG decided together, and I want to insist, these priorities have been agreed upon with the government, have been consulted with the CSO and other national stakeholders. These priorities are aimed at supporting and accelerating Ghana growth, creation of jobs, creation of opportunities for the youth in particular, and shifting or at least encouraging the economy to be more sustainable, be it in terms of urbanization, in terms of consumption, in terms of waste. You've mentioned it in terms of fisheries, in terms of cocoa as well. So this is what informs, I would say, the partnership in terms of cooperation so far.
How is the plan to ensure good governance and security going to be executed? I'm asking this on the heels of all the reports of instability in the sub-region, more recently with the attempted coup in Guinea-Bissau and the coup that happened in Burkina Faso. How big a threat do you foresee in executing this good governance and security mandate, considering that Ghana is in the middle of a number of countries that have
Why I'm saying so, it's because this partnership is grounded on the fact as well that Ghana is a robust, solid, stable democracy and a trustworthy partner. And as you mentioned, this is more and more precious in this region due to the development that you have mentioned, instability in three countries, namely Guinea-Conakry, Mali, and Burkina Faso recently. And this partnership is not only, and it's not based on development cooperation, it's a partnership based on joint priorities, and the first priority is political, diplomatical, and the stability in the region. And as you know, Ghana is currently chairing the ECOWAS, the regional body in West Africa, and this gives us as well an extra opportunity to enforce our ties and our cooperation with Ghana in order to support their agenda at the helm of ECOWAS, which is marked by the support to democracy, the return to constitutional order, so on and so forth.
Are you worried, though, that all these things are happening around the same time, and are you concerned that it might spill into the country, and is this something that you're working hard with the partnership of your Ghanaian partners to sort of ensure that doesn't happen?
This is an issue of shared concern. As you know, the European Union is heavily involved in the Sahel region for so many years now. And these developments are not good, we have to say the truth. And once again, it's not the EU is fearing in particular way, it's just that we have this shared concern with the Ghanaian government, because we see there is a risk of spillover to what we call the countries of the Gulf of Guinea, Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin. It's not only Ghana, but of course Ghana is our primary interest. It's my assignment here. And we are precisely working with the Ghanaian authorities to try to avoid this spillover or the consequences of the crisis which is at the door of the country.
And ECOWAS leaders are meeting in Accra today, and I'm sure that security will be top on their agenda. As a key development partner, what would you want them to focus on? What would you hope that at the end of the meeting, the communique issued should address?
Oh, I have nothing to ask or to request from ECOWAS. They have been on top of the dossier since the beginning, but the EU has constantly supported ECOWAS stances when it comes to the coup in Guinea-Conakry. We have immediately reacted and supported ECOWAS's mediation and communiques. On Mali, beyond communique, we have supported the decision, especially the targeted sanctions that have been decided, which is going very far. So the EU is preparing the ground in order to, I would say, translate or adopt these targeted sanctions as well in order to match, I would say, ECOWAS policy. And in Guinea and in Burkina Faso, we did the same. We are not in the I would say, scenario of sanction, but at least we are seeing that with a lot of attention. Our expectation is that the region once again unites in order to support or to open the way for the return of the democracy, constitutional order, and the return of civilian power in the region. So this is our hope, and we will support the outcome.
Ambassador Ishad Razali is our guest this morning. He is the EU ambassador to Ghana, and he's answering questions about existing and plans to further enhance collaborations and cooperation between government and the EU. You can join the conversation via WhatsApp number 05555561034. So if you have any questions for the ambassador, join us now, and we'll be taking them in a short while. I just want to find out, a key part of this is to help Ghana in the transformation process to consolidate her middle income status as a democracy in a sustainable manner. Key among that is job creation for the youth and making employment opportunities more available. What's the plan for that part? Because a lot of young people are unemployed and they are looking for ways to earn a living for themselves.
You're right. This is the word. Our ambition is to have a transformational, not effect, but at least help the government and the country to have this transformation and stimulation in terms of economic growth, in terms of job creation. So we can address it through several ways. First of all, we are supporting the country in order to reinforce its public finance and management. This is part of what we call governance, in order to have this systemic effect of the economy trickling down to the population, firstly. But secondly, more importantly, we will roll out programs which are focused on agribusiness. You know the size of the agriculture in the Ghanaian economy, and currently we are already supporting a huge program of 132 million euro, which is quite significant, called the EU Agriculture in Program in Ghana, the EU GAP, which is aimed at reinforcing access to financing, because most of the time this is a bottleneck for the young entrepreneurs. And we want as well to facilitate access to local and international market, because one of the issues of the planters is the access to market where they will sell their product. And finally, this is supporting as well resilience to climate change, because especially in the northern part of the country we are seeing the consequences of climate change that can affect the crops, so on and so forth. So agriculture and agribusiness is one of the topic on which we will be focusing and reinforcing our commitment. The same goes for, related aspect. We will be, and we are already supporting a huge dam program in the northern part of the country, because you cannot harvest without water, so on and so forth. And there is another project that I want to mention. We call it the Green Project, with 20 million euro, almost 21 million euro. This is grant. We are not doing loans at this stage. I'm not mentioning loans at this stage. And it's promoting job creation and specifically the greening of businesses in order to make them more sustainable, more aligned with target of climate change, because we know that Ghana has made bold commitment in Glasgow during the last COP, and we are here to support the government, the economic side, CSOs as well, to make their fair contribution to this commitment. So agribusiness is one very important key area, and another key area on which we will encourage and facilitate the opening up of job opportunities is to stimulate private investment of private companies, European companies in Ghana. The economy is growing. There is plenty of opportunity to grab, I would say, and we are here as well to facilitate this process. We are in talks with the government, and this is what we are running under what we have mentioned, good governance as well, linked to the business climate, because it's not enough to say we want to welcome investment. We want to demonstrate together as well that the business climate is open, I would say, to do business.
It's such a varied, breakfast plate you've just given us. Agribusiness, access to markets, building dams. I don't even know which one to pick on first. But I guess the key thing would be, how would people be able to access these things? Because 132 million euros going into agri and agribusiness is a huge sum of money. But what kind of things do people need to do to be able to access some of these facilities that you're presenting?
This project, some of them are quite huge, and that could be a bit overwhelming. And you're asking the right question: how can I access? How can I access? How can I contribute? How can I participate? And this project, I've got several components. Some of them are directed through a development bank, implementing partners, CSO, grouping of farmers, grouping of when it comes to the north, we pay real attention as well to women who are involved in revenue generating activities, be it shea butter or something else. So everyone, I would say, can apply or can present their project to the implementing partners. I don't know them by heart at this stage, but some of the funding will be channeled through, I would say, banking system in order to open up the opportunity and facilitate access to finance, and not on pure market terms. Okay, so this your access point will be the banking system if your concern is access to funding, and other entry point will be the organization of planters who are connected with those programs, and they can, I would say, connect you to a larger project that they are implementing or they are benefiting from. As an individual, you don't really access European fund because we are working with entities, be them NGOs or cooperatives or banks or even government bodies, you know, who are structuring the value chain.
I find the bit about providing access to EU markets quite interesting, because the goal, I believe, for you is to ensure that the products that we are giving out meets the standards that the EU would accept. What effort is going to go into ensuring that that is the case, so that the products, the goods, the services that you're looking for meet the standard that you want for the EU market?
This is a very interesting and I think topical question, because this is one of the issues on which we are focusing as well, in order to make those efforts paying in the end. So part of the programs as well are ensuring that those products are meeting the phytosanitary requirements or other type of requirements. But beyond that, I want to address your question more globally. We are not here to chase good product only. We are here to create opportunities for the Ghanaian youth. This is our core, I would say, focus, because we know that absorption of the youth in the job market is an issue everywhere. In Europe, this is the case. In Africa, it's the case. In Ghana, it's the case. So this is one of the reasons why we are focusing on that. And then comes the fact that we encourage and support these young entrepreneurs to meet the standards and the requirements.
What's the current state of this threatened ban on Ghana's cocoa?
Ban is a very bad word, and it's not it's not the word I would use. On the contrary, I would say I would like to develop a bit, because it's a passionate debate.
It is a passionate debate.
Once again, the European economy is going now carbon free. In a few years, 2030, we will halve the carbon production emission of the European economy, still thriving. So just demonstrate that you can thrive as an economy and cut on your carbon emission. And the European citizens are more and more demanding on the product that they are using. They don't want their consumption to be done to the expenses of other countries. They don't want, so to come back to cocoa and chocolate, people who are eating chocolate in Europe, they don't want to eat chocolate to the expenses of the rainforest or to the expenses of child labor. So this is something which has been seen a different way. There is no ban whatsoever. There is just an attempt to make the consumption which happens in Europe not creating damages in the forest in Brazil, in the rainforest in Africa or in Asia, and not to be born out of bad practices such as child labor. So there is nothing against Ghana, nothing against cocoa in Ghana. I just want to comment and see what we are planning and what we are already implementing together with the Ghanaian authorities and with Cocoa Boards, and I want to acknowledge their work, is to have programs in order to make the Ghanaian cocoa more sustainable. This is a good thing. This is an opportunity. This is an opportunity because this will make the Ghanaian cocoa meeting the standard that other countries might not meet.
So in effect, it's saying that if someone buys a bar of King's Bite, which is Ghana chocolate, in a city in Nice, in France, they want to be sure that that bar of chocolate is not coming at the expense of a child's education. It's not coming from a protected area. It's not being farmed from a place which is protected in a rainforest whatsoever. Just like they might say for example, phones and parts that produce phones not being mined dangerously in other countries. That's what you're saying.
Precisely, because the decision or the proposal of legislation that is being submitted now, it has not been enacted yet. It is set to be enacted in 2024 in order precisely for the countries to adapt, is focusing on those commodities which might have consequences like cocoa, soya, palm oil, meat, so on and so forth. You know, so there is nothing targeting Ghana as such. It's just that the initiative is trying to limit I would say the outsourced consequences of consumption in Europe, because we feel it's not fair. It's not fair for us to enjoy a carbon-free economy to the expenses of other countries.
That actually makes a lot of sense. And in that same vein, I'll ask if it includes minerals as well, because we have a lot of challenges in our mining sector, especially with illegal mining activities, which, mind you, foreigners have been found to be involved. So what's the EU's plan to support Ghana to beat this canker of illegal mining?
Yes, this is work in progress, and other commodities such as the ones you've mentioned, which are creating real, I would say, disturbances and which are damaging the environment, are considered. But discussions are ongoing. We have so far agreed on those commodities I've mentioned earlier, and your question is very legitimate, and these are questions that European citizens are asking. But you know, legislation is not only being tabled by the citizens, but there are consultations like here in Ghana as well.
On job creation, another matter that keeps coming up is people want opportunities, and for some, the inclination is always to travel abroad. So, you know, get out of your country, go travel to Europe perhaps, and do some work and then make it in life. You have another plan to ensure that these opportunities are created here, so that there's no need to travel. Is that the agenda?
No, this is not the agenda, because I think the agenda is to create the opportunities and to open up the choices. On the contrary, you know, it's not to force anyone to stay or to leave. If you want to live and travel and learn and perform studies as you've done yourself abroad and come back, if it's your choice, fine. But if you feel that you have to leave your country because nothing is right and the country is in shambles, this is not the right choice, you know. So our aim is at creating opportunities and leave the choice, the best choice and the best options. If you want to leave, like I did, I've left Madagascar to join France. I was not forced. Fine.
You have
but
that
if
right.
I could have stayed as well, but it's a personal choice. But what is not fair is that you have been forced by the circumstances to live in bad, I would say, conditions, or in bad, I would say, circumstances, once again, your home country.
One of the key areas where the EU has been of immense help to Ghana is in health, especially with the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the EU was a key ally in the COVAX initiative many countries offering vaccines to Ghana at a time of global need when the West had more in store. What's the plan for development in health going forward with this new level of partnership that we are going into?
One of the reasons why I'm happy and honored to serve here in Ghana is because Ghana has been the first country to benefit worldwide. It's a world premiere from the so-called COVAX program, meaning that the international community and especially European Union have made available the first batches of vaccine to Ghana as early as March last year, which is very quick after the outburst of the crisis. What I want to specify is the EU is the global leader in terms of making available, be it from a donation or for trading, vaccines worldwide. We have shared already 381 million doses worldwide, okay, and we plan to share to reach the level of 700 million doses by the mid of this year, because this is the right thing to do. This is because, as goes the saying, nobody is safe as long as everybody is safe. And on top of that, the EU has supported financially Ghana last year in order to weather the health and socio-economic consequences of COVID. We have made available 87 million euros, which is not nothing, which comes on the top of the 200 million euros you have mentioned earlier. And more importantly, we are looking at the future. You know, Ghana for us is a future, it's a partner for the future. We are supporting the creation of a vaccine manufacturing facility in Ghana in order for Ghana and other African countries to produce and cater their population with vaccines, and even to provide for the rest of the continent and the rest of the world. So this is what we are doing with a handful of countries, and Ghana has been part of this program. And I can say that the first steps are already promising. We are on ongoing talks, not only with the government, but with the private entities, with the vaccine manufacturers. So we are very happy to have Ghana part of this core priorities that we share, once again, between the European Union, Africa, especially Ghana.
Absolutely, Rashad. So what we do is we have an opportunity for people to join in the program and ask questions as well. And my colleague Valerie will be reading some of the questions on the screen. The WhatsApp number 05555610034. Please, don't ask about visas. He does not issue visas. I know because I'm seeing some on my phone. So don't ask. I'll just go to Valerie and see what you're saying. 05555610034. Val?
Okay, so Buka Rita Hero is saying, good morning, Mr. Rizali. Do African leaders, or having African leaders at all, because I can't understand why a rich continent like Africa will be marking time and always, and what is the way forward? And so that's from Buka Rita Hero. This is from New Odoya Shongman. He says, I met His Excellency Razali at the beach cleanup last year, and from his demeanor, I can tell he is a fine
very
gentleman. Much. Okay, so this is from Brain, and it says, good morning, Thelma. I have 20 acres of land for fish farming and organic vegetable production. This is to create job opportunities for the youth and reduce unemployment in the country. But my greatest challenge is capital to push this dream into reality. Do I stand a chance to benefit from the grant Mr. Razali mentioned? This is Brain from Ho. Okay, go, and alrighty, and so yeah, so I'm sure we're going to pick Brain's question first. He says he has 2 acres of land for fish farming. So he says, does he stand a chance to benefit from this grant?
Very much so. I cannot make any promises, I would say live, but these are the type of initiative we are interested in. What I can commit to is we exchange contacts after the show. and we see what type of collaboration we can have.
Okay, dokes. More?
Yes, Bukari's question needs to be answered about the African leaders.
So, perhaps, what are your thoughts on where we are now continentally and with leadership? I guess is the idea that he's trying to pick your thoughts on, that what does it look like from the European perspective, looking at our leadership situation on the continent?
You know, the relations between the EU and the African continent are deep and ancient. And in a few weeks, actually in the 17th, 18th of February, there will be a summit between European Union and African Union, meaning the European leaders, head of state and government, will meet with their African counterparts, head of state and government, and assess a series of topics, especially linked to the future of the relation. And there again, youth, job creation, sustainability, so on and so forth. To address more specifically the question, it's not for me to tell in terms of leadership, but one of the things we are supporting across the globe, not only Africa. I don't want to let the perception that there is an issue with leadership in Africa as such. There is questions about leadership worldwide. I mean, but what we are focusing on specifically are issues related to support to democracy, and this is the reason why we are rolling out what we call electoral observation missions, especially when we feel the conditions are right. We did so in Ghana during the last elections. We did so in Senegal, for example, or in Mali in 2018, in order to identify the room for improvement, maybe, or the measures that can reinforce the robustness of a democratic system. Because, once again, this question is linked to the other question related to the instability in West Africa, or at least in the 3 countries in West Africa. There again, this is a question about the solidity of the institution, the legitimacy, the way the power is relating to the citizens. And there again, I've seen some of the comment on the screen. There is nothing better than a civilian power which has been chosen by the people through free and fair elections. But it's not only that, but this is the way to begin. And then comes the daily running of the country.
Right. Val, more questions?
Yes. Leviticus Powers from Kaswa is saying, good morning. Please let the white man know that our children learn cocoa farming by following their parents to the farm, which started well over centuries, and so there's nothing like child labor in our farming communities. That's from Sami Leviticus Powers in Kaswa.
So there's a perception that perhaps the West does not quite understand the cultural undertones that comes with cocoa farming, and that for many children who may be perceived from the Western perspective as being engaged in child labor, it's on this side an attempt to help the family. So do some of these cultural undertones matter when it comes to conversations like cocoa? And because we talked about the West and the carbon print and whatnot, I guess that's where Leviticus is coming from, just hazarding a guess here. But does a culture play a factor in some of these thought processes?
Yes, no, I appreciate the comment by Leviticus, and the white man who is not so white, I would say.
He's African.
We are aware of that, but I've not said, and we are not saying as the EU, that all the cocoa crops is provoking child labor, okay? And child labor to some extent goes beyond cocoa. I am not the one coming with the program few days or few weeks ago documenting that in some cases, in some farms, in some region, there are kids that are abducted or sold or rented by the parents for abject sums of money to a cocoa planter. I'm not the one who have put that on the table. It comes from the Ghanaian press. I'm not the one who has written an article in the press yesterday saying that 30,000 kids are in danger or something like that. You can go back to the press yesterday. I'm just saying that if it were the case, and we want to document that, and your information is key for that, this has to be addressed. If there are no cases, fine, but it seems that there are cases. I'm not saying that this is the case all over the sector.
Okay, I think Leviticus, you have your answer.
Yes, and so, you know, the e-levy tax the debate has been raging. So, Patrick from Nungoa is asking, he says, good morning, please, does the EU have any tax like e-levy in their countries?
This is a good one.
This is a good one, and now I'm listening rapidly.
No, really, I have to confess my ignorance in something which is really like the e-levy. What we have been talking for many years is to create worldwide levy on international finance transaction. The purpose would be to fund climate change related project, because the idea is globalized activities like air freight or maritime transportation are creating some,
carbon imprint.
Carbon prints, and they, as well as international transaction in terms of funding, should make a contribution. This debate is ongoing. Sometimes some of the partners were reluctant, including the financial sector. Others are pushing forward, so the discussion is on the table. Okay, when it comes to something really like the e-levy, first I have to confess something. To some extent, some of the European member states are far below Africa when it comes to MOMO system. We don't have that in all our countries, okay? So African countries are ahead of us when it comes to paying by cell phone, so on and so forth. It's going, but we are a bit below. But I'm not aware at this stage, but if it's of interest to you, we will check and I will come back with a very specific answer.
Okie dokie. So for me, it's the African countries being ahead in terms of mobile money payments. That's a significant one.
Okay.
For me. More questions?
Yes, we have another one from Kwame from Kaswa, and Kwame is asking that why does the European Union still give loans to African leaders when they misuse those loans and come over and over for new ones? This is from Kwame. I'm not going to read the last bit, Kwame. I'm not. So
I've read it, but I can address it as well.
Right,
but the question, it's a bit general, so it will be difficult to answer. A loan comes with very stringent, I would say, parameters in terms of economic viability, financing system, as I said, public finance management, so on and so forth. I'm not a banker myself, but you can trust a banker that will not give you money for free or without having checked the conditions, first of all. But these loans, most of the time, when they come from the EU, are aimed at implementing an objective. The bigger objective, once again, is most of the time to reform a sector, to make it more competitive, to make it able to create jobs ultimately and generate growth. So this is the reason why most of the time those loans are extended. And then, once again, when the conditions are not met, political or financial, those loans are not extended. Of course, there is a perception that the loans are coming over and over again. Maybe they are not coming from the EU, but the ones coming from the EU are strictly adhering to parameters in terms of objectives, in terms of solidity of the financial system, and the targets that are to be met.
So this 203 million euro that you're putting on the table for the period to reinforce EU-Ghana partnerships, it has...
it's grant. It's not loan.
It's a grant. So
it's
I was
grant.
about to ask, how much of that is a loan?
No.
And how much... So it's an entire...
It's
the whole
100%
amount
grant.
is a grant. So this is not... It's not a loan that they are offering us. And then I would then ask, what's the plan to monitor to ensure that it's being used for the intended purpose? Because the question presumes that there's a gap between the money being issued and the end result that you want to see. What's the plan to make sure that that thing is happening, and that we are seeing the green growth for jobs, we are seeing smart and sustainable cities, we are seeing good governance and security, or we are on our way to attaining those goals?
Yes, this is, I would say, a classical question, and this is an ancient, not concern, but practice. You know, a program has got its, I would say, lifespan, its inception, its implementation, its evaluation. And over the years, we have learned as well. We have learned our lessons sometimes. So during the life of the program, you have midterm review, before, after midterm review, so on and so forth, to check if and how the targets have been met and if the final payments had to be done. And I have to say, so far, at least in Ghana, we have not had any major trouble for that.
I'm very happy to hear that you've not had any major trouble. Now, I'd like to sentence back to the health partnership issue real quick, and the perceptions that you have for local manufacturing. You intend to support whatever government initiatives are to ensure that we make our own. The vaccine hesitancy that we see in our part of the world does not appear to have been more, or it's much more than what you've seen in parts of Europe. So you have a higher intake, you have higher numbers of people who have accepted the vaccine, who have been vaccinated. How have you overcome the challenge of vaccine hesitancy, and what lessons can Ghana learn to get people to be more willing to accept the shots?
No, you agree, and it's very, sometimes it proves challenging to convince people to get vaccines. And as you mentioned, the situations and the circumstances are not the same from one country to another, from one continent to another. But there again, there are issues of, I would say, leading by examples. And, you know, the figures are quite telling. If you are vaccinated, you still can fall ill of COVID, but the consequences will be much less than if you are not vaccinated. This is as simple as that. And we can see, at least in Europe, in some of the countries, even my home country, France, where the figures are high, figures of contamination are high, but as most of the population got vaccinated, the figures of people landing to hospital is stable. So it's not linked. So it's the proof that if you get vaccinated, the consequences, the health consequences, are less important. So in the end, this is what matters. When it comes to the vaccine facility in Ghana, what makes it interesting, it's not focusing only or not in a limited way to COVID-19, because whether we like it or not, we still have other diseases that we need vaccines for. And this is something that is considered as well. I think this is a very smart choice, not to focus only on COVID-19, but if we are to create a facility, we should serve a larger purpose as well. So I think this is a very smart way to do it.
Well, more questions.
Right.
You're joining us on our WhatsApp number 055556134. Yep.
Okay, so Leviticus Palace's backend is asking, good morning again, please ask him if there's no tax on the use of credit cards, which is a typical electronic transaction. And then Trisha is saying that the Western world does need more transactions. Credit cards are used, and that's where they generate their levy. Their system works unlike ours, and that's from Trisha. Third one, please ask him why France is still colonizing the Francophone countries in Africa and when they will leave them alone. This is from Kwame.
Colonization. I don't think that. Well, let me leave Ambassador to address it as he deems fit.
No, I think this question should be directed to my French colleague here, that you know well. But on the transaction and the credit card, this is a very important and interesting question. Of course, the system and the person is right. Is it Tricia?
Yeah, that's
Tricia, you're right. The system is not working like ours, but like yours, sorry. But I think there is a complementarity as well, because we are going more and more into a Momo type of transactions as well, to complement the one with credit card and cash. When it comes to credit card, I have to tell that if there are transactions incurred by the payment, it's not by transaction. Okay, you are paying. So
it's a service charge?
No, not by transaction. You are paying for your account and for the type of card that you have once off, and then you use it, and there is no transaction cost at any payment. Okay, you pay upfront or monthly, but you are not charged for every transaction. There are charges if you are using your card abroad, internationally, but this is not the question. But I think this is an interesting one. Yeah.
Okay, do you have more questions, Val?
No, T, that's all from our WhatsApp pages. And so, yes, back to you and Mr. Razali.
Thank you. Mr. Razali, as we wrap up, let's reiterate again what the EU wants to see and the kind of partnerships that you intend to form. Are there even any new areas that you're looking to explore as you go into this partnership more actively?
Yes, very much so. We are very, and I'm personally quite enthusiastic, because we are opening up a new, I would say, level of ambition to deepen the partnership between the EU and Ghana. Once again, the partnership is robust, but we want to bring it to another level. We have, as I say, a shared history, but we have, more importantly, common interest, and we have a shared future to build. And this future will build upon a more sustainable model of development worldwide and in Ghana as well, that we will support and encourage. At least we are supporting the Ghanaian government priorities. Nobody is imposing anything on Ghana, firstly. And secondly, those areas, I'm quite excited about the smart cities, because Africa is urbanizing very fast, and urbanization is a very important pattern in your development. If you get it right, you get it right for the coming centuries.
What does a smart city look like?
A smart city is designed and built upon, I would say, consciousness about transportation, access to energy, the flow of population, the way they will consume, they will heat or they will cool down their buildings, so on and so forth, the way the water is used, so, you know.
But for those cities that have been made already, Accra is an ancient city, a number of hundreds of years old, and so it's there already. How could you bring it to a level where it can be considered smart?
But the cities are growing. The city of Tema is booming. The cities in the northern part of the country, Tamale and other ones, where we want to focus, are growing, and we want to be there in order to help design those cities in terms of public transportation, in terms of urbanization, in terms of energy consumption, in terms of waste retreatment, a way that is more sustainable. We have been doing that in Europe. It's not, I would say, it's complex, but all is in the onset and the design. So we are excited.
It seems like an ambitious plan, and we hope that it all comes to fruition. It will be good to see the green growth for jobs, smart cities. I would love to see the day that a city is planned from the beginning to be more sustainable in terms of energy use and recycling, and all those things are planned ahead of time, because it's much easier to do that at the beginning, isn't it, than to try to incorporate it in the end. Ambassador Assad, we're so Razali, we are so happy to have had you at the table, and we wish you a pleasant stay. How long are you staying?
In Ghana? For 3-4 years, yes.
So more banku?
More banku, more tilapia, and more palava sauce, please.
From his own mouth, we should treat you to lunch. Mr. Lomote and the Director General should definitely take you.
I would love that. I would love
for lunch. I'm sure they should be able to work on something. Ambassador Ishad Razali has been our guest at the table this morning. He's the EU ambassador to Ghana, talking to us about the Ghana EU joint cooperation, which is entering a multi-annual indicative program for the period of 2021 to 2027. They are looking at 3 thematic areas: green growth for jobs, smart and sustainable cities, good governance and security. 203 million euros grants available for all kinds of development activities across sectors. So there's some for health with COVID, there's some for agric and agribusiness, ensuring that Ghanaian goods have access to EU market, and a lot more. The key thing is for you to position yourself and your business to partner with the institutions that will offer these grants up, and then you can benefit. And we'll try to get the person who sent that message from who. We'll try to get you in touch with Brian, your name is. We'll try and get you in touch with the ambassador so that you can discuss how you can make your dream of employing more Ghanaians possible, because it's also about creating job opportunities for the youth. So thank you for sending your questions and messages across to us. The Breakfast Show continues after the break. Valerie is getting ready to speak to a master drama. So original, authentic Ghanaian moment coming up. You can't miss it.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style?
On-site restaurant.
Complimentary breakfast?
Off of your plate should be vegetables.
So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the box?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time
of the morning.
You want it served buffet style, complimentary breakfast,
on-site restaurant,
or room service?
we've got you covered.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
With a trusted team.
So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
A la carte. Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style,
on-site restaurant,
complimentary breakfast.
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the bag?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
Good morning, my neighbor.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's a good morning, and we serve you breakfast.
Not just any breakfast.
Sizzling helping.
A la carte. Yeah, all the time. Okay, let's take a peek. I brought my spine.
There are certain things that we do to help the children with their brushing.
And there's much more on offer on GTV Breakfast.
You want it served buffet style,
on-site restaurant,
complimentary breakfast.
Off of your plate should be vegetables. So in my lifetime, I haven't seen Ghana Black Stars win an African Cup.
Can I show what is written on the bag?
Yes, definitely.
Where's the camera?
Just stand and turn.
So what's your pleasure than Votras, yeah? At that time of the morning. So never skip breakfast.
On GTV Breakfast.
From Monday to Friday at 6 a.m.
We've got you covered with a trusted team. Welcome to the very, very warm side of the breakfast table, the fun side of the breakfast table. And today we are going to be speaking to an international musician, high life, Afrofusion, drum set player. Okay, so this is how modern Ghana described him, Ghana's most artistic drummer. And then they also described him as the future of drumming. I don't understand how that comes into play, but guys, we're going to be speaking to Paco, the prolific drummer, and we're going to take a quick break. for quick credit and investment microcredit lending, they say lending is made simple. So we are going to take a quick break and hear from Quick Credit. When we come back, we are going to be speaking to the drama of the moment, guys. So here's a break. So I found more press reviews on Paco. You meet him in a bit. This one is from the Marquee magazine. They are saying Paco has taken the world music of his native Ghana and tossed it into a basket with heaps of American influences to create an album that the great purveyors of world music, the Paul Simmons and the Bella Flecks of the world, would envy. And then Soul Safari is also giving a review. They say, take the beat of Ghana's traditional sound, add some American flavor, and mix it with Paco's stellar drumming chops. That is the musical recipe for a flavorsome sound. And so I have none other than Paco, the Afrofusion drummer, in studio. Welcome, boss.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
The last time we spoke was like 5 years ago.
That's right.
So between that period, COVID has taken a huge chunk of our lives, but what have you been doing? What have you been doing for this time?
Yeah, I've been creating a lot of music and playing shows.
Definitely.
But I think during the COVID, you know what happened.
Yeah.
We couldn't do anything outside, and so COVID is a bit slow, but you know, it's good for me to stay in and create more music. So that's what I've been doing.
Okay. So for people who haven't heard your story, haven't seen you on TV before, you started as a drum set player.
Yeah.
So how's that different from what you're doing now?
Well, it's still connected with everything that I'm doing. I mean, I started when I was like 6 years old. My mom, she's a musician. She's a singer. So my uncle used to have a concert band in my hometown, in Yandintra. And so I was playing, you know, percussions and stuff. And they found out that I can play a drum set. And so from there, I just started from there, and then that, you know, I'm a bass player myself, so I use all that to, you know,
put it together.
Yeah, to put it together.
And then here we are.
Here we are.
Okay. What other instrument do you play? What other instruments do you play apart from the drum? Which other ones do you play? The bass?
I'm a bass player.
Okay.
I play percussion, congas.
Okay.
I'm also a singer.
That's what I was coming to.
Yeah.
So guys, for those of you who know Paco as a prolific drummer, guess what? He doubles as a singer. He has a song that's called Subang. And so we're going to take a break on Subang. We'll get back to Paco after Subang plays. And then, hey, you can judge if he's a better drummer or musician. So here comes Subang.
brete akwa kocha obi ne bag kutan akwa koshu obi ne sikada ho na apa kofa na ya beka do nyame amboye menka do nyame amboye wala usumanya unipa wo biata osede e ya tepa unipa wo biata onide e ya tepa unipa wo biata osede e ya tepa unipa wo biata onide e ya tepa ni banchi akwa kotu ni brete akwa kocha ni bag kutan akwa koshu ni sikada ho na apa kofa na yabeka do nyame amboye menka do nyame amboye wala usubanya.
Okay, so Paco, I think, look, we'll take both sides of you. You're amazing as a musician, and I like your dance moves.
Thank you very much.
Friend, what was that? What was that you
the
were
dancing, I mean, it just comes naturally, you know.
Right. What inspired Subang? I mean, did it come as a surprise to you yourself when, I mean, you decided to sing, actually sing?
This music?
Yeah. Did it come as a surprise to you to actually sing it?
No, it didn't. I mean, you know, music sometimes it comes naturally. You can't force it to write it. But I saw that that's what is happening in the villages, you know. People don't complain, but that's what is happening.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
Somebody can plant his plantain for 2 years, then you take 1 second and just go take it out of there. So that's what is happening that I thought I need to preach about it so they can stop, you know.
It's a good way of preaching too.
That's right.
Right. Bako, tell us some of the people that you have worked with. What are some of the people that you've worked with?
Oh, I have worked with great musicians, the big, I work with Branche Amachide Nana.
Man.
Yeah, I work with him. When I started work with Nana, I was 14 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I work with Brad. Yeah. And then I work with Amanze Bernard Brew, Jordakon, Echo to Buffalo, and I work with Western Diamonds Band. So I work.
Okay, and outside of Ghana, what are some of the big stages you've been on and the people you've played with?
I have been on big stage in the United States, the jazz festivals.
Yeah, man.
I've been City Park Jazz. It's one of the big jazz festivals in Denver.
Okay.
And then I did a 5 Point Jazz Festival.
One of your concerts is playing on our screens now. Do you remember which one this is?
Yeah, that is in the Border Theater.
Okay.
In Colorado.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
So have been a big stage in the United States. If I say I want to mention them,
you can't.
It
will be a tall list.
You know, so that's why Ghanaians have to do their research and see who's taking Ghana far.
Imagine. Yeah. So have you identified any young talents that perhaps in the near future might be you? Have you identified any young talents when it comes to drumming or an instrumentalist?
I'll take my son.
Amazing. He plays.
He's very young, but I can tell he's coming.
Your mom had music in her genes and transferred it onto you. And so it's only right that you transfer it onto your son.
Yeah.
Okay, dokes. And so we started a fest, an event, and we started in 2020, Parkour Fest.
Yeah.
It didn't happen in 2021 because of COVID and
because of the COVID, yeah. And
but it's happening full effect 2022.
That's right.
Parkour Fest 2022 is happening.
Yeah, it's happening on Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah, February 5th. 5th February.
5th February.
Yeah.
Okay, and all roads are leading to where? Where is Parkour Fest happening?
It's happening at the Alliance Française.
What time?
The door opens 6 o'clock, but we start performing 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
Okay. Now to the question lots of viewers will want to know, how much are the tickets going for? Is it a free event?
It's not a free event. I mean, because of the production and everything, it's cost, you know. So I make it not too expensive, 50 cities for everyone, so everyone can come together as a festival and we all have fun together. So it's 50 cities.
Okay. Where do we get the tickets? Is there an early bird number to call? We get the tickets at the venue?
We get the ticket at the venue. We get a ticket at the venue, and yeah, Alliance Fan said it's not a, everyone can find it.
So it's this Saturday, 5th February 2022,
That's
Alliance
right.
Française. It starts at 6:30 to 7.
Yeah.
Between gates open between 6:30 and 7.
And the show starts 8 o'clock.
And the show starts at 8 p.m. and then we get tickets at the gate. You get tickets at the gate, guys. Alliance Française is going for a cool 50 CDs for everybody. Now, Paco, we'll come back again to do a little more talk on Paco Fest 2022. But what do you think of the Ghanaian music industry? I think personally we've done well. What are your thoughts, a professional?
Yeah, we've done well from our oldest musicians, up to now. What I would love to say is like we should just keep our tradition music, because that's what it will sell us as we being Ghanaian. High life music, and focus. I think we are doing good. We are doing good. So far, so good. But let's keep the Ghanaian music high life. Let's keep the fire burning.
Right. So I have a question coming in saying that which of the Ghanaian music legendaries do you love most, and by either playing their drums or composing? So which of the people you've worked with, the legends that you work with, which one do you enjoy working with most?
I think I enjoy playing with all of them because everybody have a different background. Like Brack Ojenchulaides, he has his background different. And when you play with Nana Amachidede, he has his own his background. And all the musicians I work with them, I have fun playing with all of them. Amanzi Badnadbru has his own thing, So I can't say I love this man particularly, but I love all of them. I learn from all of them. So
amazing.
Yeah.
Righties. So do we have an album? Is there an album coming up, an EP, a new release, a single? What's apart from Paco Fest 2022? What are we to expect?
Well, I just released a new album. It's called Nkwane here. Life is what it needs.
Yeah.
If you have life, you have everything. So the album's called Nkwane here. That's what Wala Usuban, it's on that album. Yeah, and I just released it last year, not too long ago.
Right. So how many songs are on the album?
15 songs.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Wala Usuban, and which other ones?
Nkwane here, Funky Man, Don't Stop, Adam.
And are we seeing you? Are we hearing you singing in all of these, or playing the drums?
That's what I do on stage. I sing and play. And so that's what is going to happen.
Okay, so yeah, we want to give our audience and our viewers a feel of when you're actually playing on stage. And so we are going to take a quick detour, and we're going to see Paco doing his thing on stage. And so it's coming up on your screens now.
Obasafa Wokofi. Obasafa Wokofi. Womayampo. Womayampo. Obasafa Wokofi. Obasafa Wokofi. Ghana Muti. Ghana Muti. Obasafa Wokofi. Obasafa Wokofi.
Okay, so tell me that didn't bring a smile to your face. That's amazing. That's amazing. So all of the drums that we saw, are they all local traditional drums, or there's a fusion of some foreign drums in there?
Yeah, the fusion that I have is my snare drum and then my cymbals.
Okay.
You know, but all of them, the toms and the bass drum, they're all traditional drum, atumpai and fonton from.
Okay, so Paco, I'm going to ask you, be as honest as you can. What feedback have you heard, or someone said to you about your drumming skills that really humbled you or really got to you?
Yeah, when I was growing up playing the music at that young age, you get people saying, "Yo, you are good," you know, and then some people be like, "Hey, go to school. What are you doing here?" So you always have to take the good stuff that they're saying to move on. And oh, he said I'm good. Let me practice more to become better, so I don't shame anybody, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, I always take the good things that they say about me and not let it get in my head, and keep practicing. Make sure that I'm in a good track, you know. Okay. I'm the right track.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So it's practice for you, because it looks like you keep getting better. It's like fine wine. You keep getting better and better.
Yeah.
Is it just talent, or to someone who might be watching and want to know, how has this guy honed his craft and maintained that, you know, you keep going from like the rising line?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You have the talent, but if you don't practice, you're going to lose it. So I practice a lot. Usually not practicing, you don't always have to play your drums, but also listening.
Okay.
You know, I do a lot of listening. And then every week, maybe I'll play my drums, maybe like, you know, 3 times, 4 times a week.
When you say listen, what do you mean? Listen?
Listen to music.
Okay, you listen to normal music, not to
yeah, and
drumming.
even listen to human being talking, you know, I can learn something out of it.
Okay.
Because music we do, it's like a language. It's exactly, when I'm saying, I can put it on bass and play that same rhythm I'm saying. So listen to human beings, and then listen a lot of music, jazz music, Afro music, and yeah, all of them. So I'm busy in my life every week. If I'm not listening, I'm playing drums.
Yes, listening or playing.
That's it.
So how are we putting together, how's your team putting together Parkour Fest 2022? I mean, let's talk technicalities. Who are some of the artists who are the musicians who are going to be playing? Do we have any surprises?
Yeah, I have a supporting act. I have Mr. Ambule.
Jerry play Ambule.
Yeah, Jerry Ambule is on the bill.
Right.
Bessie Simon, Mr. Bessie Simon, yeah. Belempe is on there, and Lamisi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's on there too. So all these great musicians are going to be there. And my band has been from here. I have a professor that came from United States yesterday.
A professor of music.
He's a professor of music, and he's the head of the jazz department in CU Border. So he got in yesterday. So it's going to be massive. It's going to be awesome night.
At Alliance on Friday.
No, Saturday.
February 5 at Alliance Francis. Tickets are going for a cool 50 Ghana cedis. Tickets will be at the gate. There are no early bird tickets. Get there early enough and get your tickets. 50 Ghana cedis for everybody. There's no VIP, is it?
There's no VIP. It's for all of us. You know, we don't have to put the money people here and put the whatever. We all want. Let's
like
all
that.
come and enjoy.
So it's a great music festival happening at Alliance Francaise on Saturday, February 5. Gates open at 6:30. Show begins at 8. Tickets are going for cool 50 CDs, and Eko and his band will be in full bloom. Where do we find you on social media, Eko? How do we connect with you?
Paco Music, and you Instagram the same Paco Music, PAAKOW Music. You know, you can find me on Apple Music, Spotify, music platform, and all my albums are there.
Yeah, man. How many albums, so just to be curious, how many albums do you have so far?
I have 5 albums now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Good work,
Thank
Paco.
you,
We're
thank you,
expecting
thank
to
you.
see more. Charlie, hurry up and start mentoring some young, drummers, because we have a lot of talent in Ghana.
That's what I started the festival,
Yeah, man.
and it's gonna now. This professor here, next time we'll be teaching. You know, I don't want to just take. I don't want to learn alone.
Yeah.
I want where I go learn. I want them to come and support my my country too. So next time we'll be teaching. So everybody should watch out.
Charlie, you are the man.
Thank
you,
you,
Eko, for passing
thank you.
through as usual.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. So we've been speaking with Paco, and Paco Fest 2022 is happening this weekend, Saturday to be specific, at Alliance Francaise. Gates open at 6:30. Show begins at 8. You can get tickets at the gates. The tickets are going for 50 Ghana cedis. And hey, go on all streaming platforms and look for Eko, listen to his music, his album, and share. Also, you can find him on Instagram and share his music, support his stuff. And together, let's push African creativity forward. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast. We'll be right back. Welcome back, and T has joined me on set. T, did you love Paco's music?
I am blown away.
Imagine.
It
We should go to the concert on Saturday.
Kofi Ganaba vibes, and you know, Rexoma memories and authentic Ghana music. Can we just go back to those? I mean, I love the new school music as well, but these ones just...
It has a different feel, something
the
nice
rhythm,
about it.
you know, you feel it in your belly.
That's
rhythm,
good music, man.
Rhythm. I loved it.
And I mean, we are missing Cup now, but we are sure he's doing something for Ghana. Actually, he's working for Mother Ghana. But the conversation on cancer, chemotherapy, and living with it. I mean, it brings to... We shouldn't look at people, and I've been seeing Cynthia, the lady who came on. I've been seeing her
because we work with her.
Yeah, and I saw her with a bandage, and I assumed she had broken her arm or sprain or something. And so, guys, I think we should be kind to
people are going
people are going
stuff
through
you
stuff.
may not know. Be kind. Be kind.
So we had that conversation, and then we had the EU ambassador to Ghana joining you. What were the highlights?
Oh,
of his
when he said
conversation for you?
African countries are ahead in Momo, that just, I'm like, okay, we are ahead
in Momo.
In Momo,
Use
because
Momo
they don't have a lot of those systems, but they do have other transactions where they send monies across. But it's the fact that there's something good that we're doing, which people take notice of, and I'm happy that monitoring systems are in place to kind of see where these projects are, because like he said, if you're not putting these grants to the purposes that they give to you, then they will not be renewed. So it's not automatic that if we are giving you, in this case, 203 million euros for certain development projects, if we don't see what we want to see, it's not automatic that you get a renewal
again.
So those were key for me. He seemed like a pleasant. Plus, the man loves Banco. I mean, who doesn't like a man who?
The man says his mom is from Simpe.
And his dad is from La.
Yes, the man says his favorite dish is Banco and okro.
He says he loves kontomire.
So yeah, he's Ghanaian. He's Ghanaian too. And for our viewers who send the comments, this is GTV. We do not read any comments. We do not condone insults. Please be very, very clean and very clear when you send.
Blocking people very soon.
When you send your messages. We assure you we will not read any comments that insinuate any form of negativity or insults. The hashtag to follow is GTV Breakfast, guys. We thank you for accepting us into your homes, your phones, offices, everywhere. And as usual, we aim to please by educating, informing and entertaining you, and we hope we certainly have dished out a healthy serving of breakfast this morning. Bye guys, see you tomorrow.
Ringtone, ringtone.
You know the name, right?